If you've ever thought that the weekend just went by too fast, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks, and welcome back to a new week here. It is going to be April 28th, Monday, April 28th, and Benzinga's PreMarket Playbook is going to break down the biggest earnings week of this season. At least we think so. Kind of quiet over the weekend, probably all right. We're going to break down all the news here today. Great to see a whole bunch of returning faces. Let's get this show on the road. Good morning and welcome back, folks. It's great to see a whole bunch of returning faces here. Happy Monday. I hope you all had an amazing weekend. In fact, I hope you had a weekend that was as good as mine because, oh my gosh, it went by too fast. Went by too fast. We had poor weather, but we were out there anyway, golfing with the boys, and it was exactly what I needed before I go away next weekend for another golf trip. Nonetheless, great to see everybody. Hello, welcome back. Ivan, good morning. No worries. Good morning. Great to have you back here. Aleem, good morning. RTC, what is that, a 30-cent penny stock? Probably don't have any feelings or thoughts on that, my man, but good luck. Good to have you back here today. Kayla, hello. Good morning. Pete, locked in. Good morning. Locked in as always, by the way. Sun-kissed Yogi, good morning. It's great to see you again. Mama Bear, good morning. Sunny and golf today. Mama Bear, unfortunately, I have to take today off from playing golf. I wish I didn't, but I have to. But nonetheless, I've got some pretty good rounds coming up here. Great to see you. Hopefully you had a great weekend and locked in for Monday. It is sunny here. We're going to actually have a warm day here in Chicago. Pretty excited about that. It just had to wait for me to finish golfing, and then the warm weather came in. Go figure. Jonathan, good morning. Welcome back. Bernhard, good morning. Cam, good after night. I don't know what that means, but good morning. Great to have you back here. Chuck, good morning. Ed, good morning. Day Trader, good morning. Quantum, good morning. 3D, locked in. Happy Monday. Dermal, good morning. Captain Cloudy, good morning. Big Bees, great to see you again. Terlingua, good morning. Great to see you again. Yassine, you ready for the weather here today? It's going to be a good one. Yusef, good morning. Yusef Khalid, another one from Chicago. Let's go. We're going to have great weather here in Chicago, no doubt. Arch, good morning. Great to see everyone. Great to have everyone back. Yasso fine, bringing it home. All right, let's talk about the market. Let's break down where we're at and see what we got on deck here for today. Good morning, Rooster. Let's go right here. I'm clicking on the wrong things again, folks. Okay, here we go. Here is your wow. So I don't have my producer today. Apparently Spain is being hit with a cyber attack right now, and they don't have power or electricity, so my producer's a little bit late. But I apologize if it's not as crisp as it normally is. We should get him back here soon. Nonetheless, let's take a look here at the SPY, and boy, oh boy, what a recovery we have. In fact, I saw a stat from Ryan Dietrich earlier, but I couldn't track it down to share with you. One of the fastest recoveries ever. Almost like that gloom and doom stuff was a waste of time. Am I right? Anyway, looking at the SPY here, we actually have a pretty bullish formation here, especially if we can get above this 552 here. We've already broken the downtrend line with one. Actually, I think we got two closes above that trend line. We'll see if we can get a third here today. But furthermore, we also want to attack this 552 level. If we can close above that, that would be great. That puts the 50-day on deck next, and then the 200 above that. And that would be sweet if we could kind of reverse that stuff. So we'll see where we go here today. Quick look here. S&P futures were flattish earlier. S&P or market here was flattish earlier. S&P futures down 0.15%. Dow futures down 0.1%, and the NASDAQ down 0.14%. So we are slightly in the red, but barely. So we'll see where we go here today. If we take a look inside at the SPY chart here, this formation here to me, this kind of pattern here to me, sure looks like we're going to try and make a push higher. Now, can we hold? I don't know. But that's one of the things that we're going to be looking at here today. Downside levels in case we fall out here, really the big one's going to be the trend line. I suppose if we do kind of push up out of the open and then reverse, we do set up for a potential bearish engulfing candle here. So the bottom area to watch there is going to be the bottom of this candle. Let's see, the low there is going to be 543.69. That's also going to be the trend line. So that's going to be one of our key levels here today, especially if we do kind of pop higher here out of the open. A break of that 549.39, 543.69, a break of that to the downside would create a bearish engulfing candle and potentially a close below the trend line that we just spent some time trying to take out here. So that's going to be the really the only downside level that I'm concerned with here today. I suppose as an honorable mention, you could throw the 534.37, which is going to be the 20-day moving average. I don't think we sell off that much today, but there could be a headline out there that changes that, as we've seen before. It looks like Scott Bessent is talking right now. I can't hear what he says, but if there's anything important from there, I'm sure we'll cover it. Okay, let's break down the news here real quick. Really didn't have a ton of news here, so I think what we're going to be doing mostly today are going to be charts and potentially trading ideas, and I actually got one for you here today, and I'd like to know what you folks think about it. So we'll see how that all shakes out here. First thing we're going to start with here is going to be NVIDIA. NVIDIA faces a new challenge as Huawei tests powerful Ascend 910D AI chip amid the U.S. sanctions, aiming to disrupt the high-end market. Huawei Technologies is preparing to test its most powerful AI processor to date with the hopes of replacing high-end chips from the U.S. giant NVIDIA. Huawei has begun testing this phase of its new AI chip, the Ascend 910D, which is designed to rival the flagship processors. The chip will undergo a series of technical tests with samples expected to be ready by late May. So really soon, we should actually hear some more about that in the next month. The Ascend 910D aims to surpass NVIDIA's H100 chip, a popular choice for AI training tasks. The one thing that, 13 and I have kind of been talking about right now is how disappointing NVIDIA's graphics card launch is. And we know that the new series is based off the Blackwell architecture. So it'll just be interesting to see if NVIDIA's kind of left a gap open here, if you will, for other competitors. I know we spend a lot of time talking about AMD, but it'll be interesting to see if some foreign competitor like Huawei is able to close the gap there. I'm skeptical of that, but something to consider here. Popular choice for AI training tests. This move marks a significant step forward for Huawei's semiconductor division, which has faced substantial challenges due to U.S. sanctions over the past 6 years. This year, Huawei plans to ship over 800,000 Ascend 910B and 910C chips. Customers include state-run telecoms and companies like ByteDance, the report noted. However, Huawei has been struggling to manufacture these chips on a large scale due to obstacles in its supply chain. Its closest alternative, Semiconductor Manufacturing International, is also restricted from acquiring the latest chip-making technology. So it'll be interesting to see if they stole any of that IP and then put it into their own chip in order to circumvent that. We've seen that before a number of times. Earlier this month, the U.S. government placed NVIDIA's H20 chip, its most advanced processor available for sale in China without a license, on a semiconductors facing sales restriction. NVIDIA revealed that the move would likely be a $5.5 billion financial hit. On Sunday, Chamath Palihapitiya spoke about Huawei and its effect and has effectively executed a, quote, low-end disruptor strategy, end quote. This strategy focuses on creating products that match or exceed the quality of industry leaders, but at an affordable price. He highlighted several companies Huawei has already surpassed, including, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, we're just going to call it Ericsson, including Ericsson and Nokia. Previously, the SPAC King the SPAC King, that's rich and compelling. Previously, the SPAC King raised concerns that NVIDIA may not be prioritizing the best interests of the U.S. Benzinga's Edge stock rankings place NVIDIA's growth score in the 94th percentile. All right. We'll see how that shakes out. Let's actually take a look here at NVIDIA's chart. We've done a really good job charting NVIDIA recently. Here you go. NVIDIA, what looks like this was trying to curl up here, right? Actually looked like this was really setting up for a test of this 50-day moving average. 114.5, 115 is going to be that area there. Now, NVIDIA is down 1.63% on the back of all this news here today, hovering at about 109. So it's actually still several points above the 20-day moving average. Remember, this too, we've kind of been in a downtrend here as outlined by this parallel channel, but now we've actually started to, we bounced off the bottom of the channel. We held the 500-day. Now we've reclaimed the center line of the channel, which has clearly provided some area of back and forth trading. And we have a new moving average set, or have our sight set on a new moving average there, the 50-day, which is only a handful of points, 5 points away from where we're at now. Then the top end of the channel, and then perhaps even the 200 days. So it'll be interesting to see where NVIDIA goes from here. I'm curious for you folks. Where are you with the cycle here? Are you still waiting out NVIDIA? Are you still waiting for another move lower? Are some of you still waiting for the other shoe to drop? Are you waiting for something really bad to happen here? Let me know. Let me know what you think here on NVIDIA. Is it viable? Is this something that you're looking to kind of maybe add to the long-term portfolio? Basically, what I'm asking you is, have we sold off enough? And are you confident enough to put this in the long-term portfolio? Let me know. And let me know if any of you have any trading plans or ideas here on NVIDIA. Make sure I didn't miss anything here today. Good morning, everyone that I missed. JJ Diamond Hotline, Wiss, Neville, Creation, Shamir, Steve, Artisan, MD, Tyler, James, Strategically Optimistic. Let me know. Let me know if you have any trades there on NVIDIA. And Youssef saying no volume. There's definitely volume. Everyone can hear me. That must be something on your end there. Okay. That takes care of NVIDIA real quick. Next, let's talk about Tesla. Tesla reportedly developing a cheaper Model Y E80 variant with fewer features in China. So this is interesting. We actually just talked about one of the cheaper SUVs here in the States getting delayed. Looks like we have a cheaper variant of the Model Y being set for sale in China. How about that? Tesla's Chinese division is developing an affordable version of the popular Model Y crossover. The model, dubbed the E80, will reportedly be a toned-down version of the new Model Y and features a 50 to 55 kilowatt-hour battery, similar wheels, fabric seats with no ventilation, no rear display, and other omissions, notes Teslarati in a report published on Sunday. I still love that Teslarati name, just as an aside. The model could be released in the latter half of 2025 or sometime in 2026, or maybe even being delayed, am I right? But it could also depend on how the new Model Y performs in China, the report suggests. As for pricing, the new variant could be offered around 150,000 to 210, I think that's Chinese yuan, or 20,500 to $28,800. That is definitely on the cheaper end here in terms of USD. Tesla did not immediately respond to our comment. We did reach out, as we always do. If we do get a comment there, we'll of course update that. Tesla has already released affordable trim levels for models before. Reportedly, the company released a cheaper rear-wheel drive long-range version with fewer features and even altered the marketing strategy for the vehicles to focus on its utilitarian properties. The company also recently announced new promotions for its entire lineup in the U.S., including free full self-driving transfers amid declining sales figures, as well as increased hostility towards Musk's business. Two really quick things here on Tesla. I have seen a number of Teslas that have a bumper sticker that says Pre-Madness Edition, which is always rather amusing to me. They're trying to keep their cars protected. My only follow-up question to that is, do you think that sticker is really going to stop those psychopaths? Bless your heart if you think that. I don't think so. Also, one of the golf courses that we were at saw the original Tesla Roadster for the first time in what feels like years in person. Looked pretty sweet. Okay, let's take a look at Tesla's chart here and see where we're at. Tesla also kind of flashing a potential bullish move here. Love the recent action. Really need this to hold. I actually am still long those TSLL remainder calls. I had bought those calls for May. on the day that we heard that Elon said there was a report that Elon was going to take a step back. That immediately popped Tesla, ended up taking some of those TSLL calls and then selling them at a 50% gain later in the day. Kept a little piece of them just in case there was a runner. There wasn't. Tesla, of course, kind of fell off, but back from the dead they are, and here we go. Tesla's actually up this morning in the pre-market, up 1.16% here, up $3. This is actually down from the highs, though. We were a little bit higher earlier today. Now, some key levels for Tesla. Yes, in fact, we ran up to this 291.50 level in the pre-market here today. Hey, look at that. We actually traded above it, but this 291.50 right about there, we definitely found some resistance there on Tesla. I guarantee you folks are looking at that 200-day today. Really, the only question for me, or the biggest question for me, do we have the gusto to maybe break through that and then close above that? That is going to be excellent and probably sets up for another potential update tomorrow or the days after, if we can do that. We'll see. It is worth noting that the move here on Friday did close us above this trend line. We have this trend line starting on December 18th, yesterday. So not only did we move above the 50-day, but we also moved above that 200-day, and we moved above that trend line, and we are closing in on the 200-day. Also worth noting that if we break through that 200-day, we have a pretty sizable gap up to the 100-day, and not a whole lot of areas in here. I would say probably this one, your 312, let's call it 310 to 315 area. That's probably going to be your biggest resistance area on the way up. Once we get above that, we'll see how this all shakes out. But it appears that the demise of Tesla's stock and company was greatly exaggerated. Did see a note here. Hans, long Tesla. Hans, I can't remember all of your trades exactly, but if I recall correctly, you were saying that you were long last week or maybe even the week before. So you're actually catching some of this move off the bottom. That's money. ATL Russ saying, Ryan, what's your expiration on your TSLL calls? Those are the May monthly calls. So the expiry is May 16th. We've got 18 days until expiry on those. And like I said, I took about a 50, I think it was just shy of a 50% gain on the tranche that I sold after I bought them. And these things were down. Let's see, I ended up paying $1.50 for these. They're currently at 75 cents. I paid $1.50. I believe I sold that first tranche at $2.20 just to lock in gains, and then held on thinking, if Tesla goes bananas, I at least want to have some exposure. Well, it didn't. It actually slipped on a banana peel after that and came back in. These calls at one point were down like 75, 80%. I thought they were going to be left for dead, but here we are. They're back. Tesla pops here today. They're the 12 call, by the way. They're the 12 call that expires in May 16th. Honestly, Russ, if you're looking for a new trade here, I probably wouldn't go after that contract. I would look for a lower strike on TSLL just because it's leveraged. But we'll see. We'll see how this shakes out. I am very, very encouraged by the chart. I really want to see if we have any more kind of follow through from this. The more we zoom out here, the more you can see that the level that we basically held and moved off of is a gigantic volume point of control. And I mean gigantic volume point of control going all the way back to 2023, probably even longer than that. Yeah, this goes, let's see. Yep. 269. This is still kind of in the same area. It goes really all the way back to 2022. So really, really good stuff here. Don't want to get ahead of myself. I have a very, very small position in Tesla, so it's nothing to really get excited about. Just kind of cool to see that stuff that you might have left for dead might be kind of pulling an Undertaker and Undertaker and coming back from the dead. We'll see here on Tesla. Any of you folks that go to trade Tesla here today, let me know what you're thinking. Hans, you've been doing great on that. A lot of you folks I know trade Tesla on a regular basis. So let me know. Okay, next. That was Tesla. Palantir. Who's ready to talk about Palantir? I'm actually not, because like I was telling you the last time that we talked about Palantir here together, I was a little bit disappointed that I didn't get the 60 price that I was waiting out. You folks were right to kind of tell me, hey, wait for your price, don't chase, wait for your price, don't chase. But look at what this chart is doing. Palantir up another 0.5% here in the pre-market, 113.25. This is almost a double from the $60 price point that I wanted to get on the pullback and never got. I mean, just incredible performance here out of Palantir. Kathy Wood sees Palantir dominating enterprise AI, wonders how Microsoft will manage the, quote, massive disruption. And then will Excel finally die? Ace investor and fund manager Kathy Wood is doubling down on Palantir Technologies, reaffirming her confidence in the company's ability to lead the enterprise AI race as shifting market dynamics disrupt established players in this space. On Saturday, ARK Invest CEO quoted a post by Brett Winton, the firm's chief futurist. I wish that was my title, a futurist. What does a futurist do? Perhaps more importantly, what degree do you need to get to become a futurist? Oh, and you know what, guys? I almost didn't send Matt Maley a link today to join our show. We want to talk to Matt, don't we? Let me go ahead and do that here before I drop the ball anymore. Sorry for the delay here. Oh, it's a Monday. It's a Monday back in the office, and I'm spelling stuff wrong. Oh, my God. All right. Sorry, folks. Want to make sure we get Matt on here today, though. Okay. On Saturday, ARK Invest CEO quoted a post from Brett Whitten, the chief futurist, who simply wrote, "Excel will die." Let me know if you guys have any ideas on what Excel will die mean. I've been using that since as far back as I can remember using a computer. Hard to imagine that that's going to die. The post predicts the eventual downfall of Microsoft widely used spreadsheet software Excel, which has been a mainstay in office environments for decades. Let me ask you, just as kind of an aside here, how many of you use Excel on a regular basis? Some of you might use it for your job. Others might have a pet project, or maybe you do your budgeting or something like that. Let me know. Let me know if any of you have a working Excel document right now, and if you like that. In response to the post, where was this? In response to the post, Wood questioned how Microsoft and its enterprise clients would navigate the massive disruption before saying Palantir comes to mind. All of a sudden, it looks like Palantir is going to place Microsoft Excel. Say it ain't so. According to Wood, Palantir CEO Alex Karp believes that the company will become the largest pure-play enterprise AI software company in the world. Kathy Wood, quote, "I believe him," end quote. So even if all of that's true, how is that going to kill off Excel? Like, if I want to make a spreadsheet of my monthly finances or my monthly expenditures, and I just want to kind of keep track of that, or if I want to, for work, make a spreadsheet of the people that I interact with and some notes about that interaction, so if I have to follow up with them, I have that saved. How on earth is Palantir going to unseat that? Haven't figured this out. Curious to hear what you folks think about this. Palantir is now ARK Invest's second largest holding after Tesla, with a stake valued at $640 million, representing about 7% of its total assets under management across its family of funds. Microsoft has made significant headway in enterprise AI, with the segment already spotting a $13 billion annual run rate, a figure that is nearly 5 times Palantir's annual revenue in 2024. I mean, that's just that. We talked about this being overpriced. That's insane. However, the latter is gaining ground rather quickly and is already pulling ahead in sectors such as defense. While Microsoft continues to pursue cloud dominance, Palantir is inking partnerships with major defense contractors and is in the process of building a futuristic AI-powered tank. Oh, this is good. The future is going to be fun, I think. Not looking forward to a Terminator situation. Fingers crossed on that one. Palantir scores remarkably well on Benzinga's Edge stock rankings, with a strong price trend in the short, medium, and long term. Boy, we can all speak to that here, can't we? But how does it compare with Microsoft? Sign up for Benzinga Pro. Pete saying, MS Office isn't going anywhere. It will outlive all of us. So this is what I would bet on. If I could bet on this little discussion here, Pete's comment here is exactly how I would bet. There is no way that I outlive Microsoft Office. I have been using it since I was a kid. And when I depart this planet, there will be others using this. I am almost certain of that. Pete, I'm with you. I'm with you on this. I don't necessarily understand the whole replacing. Let's actually get Palantir's chart back up here real quick. What did I miss here real quick? Hans here. Okay. Okay. I love this. Okay. You got, yes. Day trader is just saying this is clickbait. Like, not even interested in the story. This is clickbait. I kind of feel like it is, though. Hellcat says, I use Excel daily. Day Trader says, I use Excel sheets multiple times per day at work and personally. Cam says, I use it every day. Pete, I use it every day for work and at home. Big B says, bro, I use it for this stuff. How the hell is Palantir going to unseat this? It's huge with little guys in the construction industry still. That is Excel. Bill saying, nope. Excel's not going anywhere. Smita, I use Patel. Barry the Goat, Google Sheets replaced my Excel years ago and it's free, but that's still a spreadsheet, right? Palantir here is talking about replacing all of that stuff with AI. I mean, it's just, there's I think some of this is overblown. I honestly do. I used to use Excel a lot, but I've been using Google Sheets for years. It won't kill Excel. I use Excel to record trades. Totally agree with you. Considering selling puts on Palantir, like was talked about on Friday. Okay, so let's get back to the Palantir discussion here. Brandy, I appreciate that. Let me know, Brandy, what are you targeting a specific strike and expiry for this trade? So you're looking to maybe sell puts here. All right, so you're going to what? Collect a premium if they don't exercise, and if they do, you're going to own the stock lower. Makes sense to me. Let me know what strike and expiry there. My big thing here on Palantir is we just talked about like its overvaluation. What's the PE going into today? I know there are plenty of folks out there that say PE on a stock like Palantir doesn't matter. Price to earnings here, forward price to earnings on Palantir, 208. Just insane. So I like the ideas here. I still really want this to pull back. Maybe we can set up for another move up to 125, give us the Batman double top that we've talked about here before, and then come back into a level that seems a little bit more reasonable. I'm not sure what's going to slow this stock down. I mean, I know our recent pullback here was actually pretty. What did we do peak to trough here? Sorry, I'm still kind of just amazed at this move. So Palantir, okay, interesting. Palantir pulled back just about 47% from its all-time high. And that concluded on April 7th. It's April 20, 21 days later, the stock is almost a double. It's up what, like 40-something percent from here? Just an insane move. Oh, excuse me. It's up like 70% here. It's almost a double. Just an insane move here on Palantir. Definitely feel like I missed this one. Definitely feel like I sold this one a little bit too early. But hey, glad I'm not short. Brandy, thank you for answering here. Considering 60 out about 4 weeks. Okay, let me know if you feel that. Let me know on that trade here. I'm definitely interested in Palantir. No position as we keep running higher here. Harley says, no, Excel's not going anywhere. DOS died, but not Excel. Way too beneficial in work and business. And the thing is that so many people that aren't even in like either business or programming, so many people at some point come across Excel and find some way in which that stock can benefit their life, or that program can benefit their life. I'm in complete agreement. It looks like we're all on the same side of this. Excel ain't going anywhere. And we're not talking about someone migrating to Google Sheets. We're talking about using Palantir as a reply. Just insane. Okay. Palantir has good returns on cash covered puts, 30 days, 118, 105, and 93 puts, 2-year backtest returns, 73, 49, and 39%. So actually it looks like that strategy here might be a pretty good one. Okay. That's good stuff. Even coding for Excel here, you can import data and easily with Excel. Any coding that I claim to know is pretty much basically Excel commands, which is Visual Basic, isn't it? You'll have to let me know. Okay. Let's see. Did I miss anything else here? Copilot subscribers are about 20 million users, but the AI investment for those 20 million users is insane. Okay. As long as numbers exist, so will Excel. That might be the easiest summation of this entire thing. That is the easiest way to sum that up. Quantum, I completely agree with you there. Okay. Last thing I wanted to talk about here before we start looking at charts, we could talk about, I want to show you some of the earnings that are coming up. We got a couple of things to do here. But the last news story I want to talk about is Bitcoin related. So let me go to the crypto chart here because Bitcoin has been booming. Bitcoin has been booming, and it is great to see. Let's see. We did not quite get to this inverse head and shoulders here. I'm going to leave it on there for maybe another week or two and see what happens. But man, oh man, not only did we break above the parallel channel / trend lines, not only did we take out the 50-day and the 200-day, and not only are we pretty much giving the double bird to the death cross, so much so that we're actually setting up for a golden cross here pretty soon if this keeps up. Bitcoin here, 95,000+. Actually, the key upside level for me now, 100K. 100K is back in sights. When we were talking about Bitcoin, when it was back above 90 and 100 previously, we talked about 93 to 91, maybe even 90 being a pretty decent support area. You can see that here by all of these wicks. Well, now it looks like that is turned to resistance. We'll see if we can take that out here. This thing has been insane. Pushed through the purple shaded support area that we had drawn on there, really kind of reversed the trend. Volume has looked great. And this morning, this thing traded up from 94.5 to 96 just overnight and earlier this morning. Bitcoin incredibly strong here. Let's take a look at the news story. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Dogecoin drop as stock futures slide. Willy Woo. Someone's going to have to tell me some of these crazy Bitcoiners' names. Someone's going to have to explain this to me. I just don't have the energy to follow all of this. Who the hell is Willy Woo? Willy Woo says all dips are for buying with Bitcoin eyeing all-time highs. Boy, oh boy, Willy Woo might have one there. Day trader saying Sailor bought another 16K Bitcoin. This might be the really good time to kind of segue into that. As you'll note, folks, Thursday is going to be our biggest day of earnings here. Apple, Big Mama, Amazon, and MicroStrategy all reporting in the after hours. The MicroStrategy one might be huge. Honorable mention there to Airbnb and Motorola and Amgen. Just huge, huge reports on Thursday. It really culminates that day. But as you can see, this entire week is going to be full of huge companies reporting earnings. We'll come back to this here in a sec. I was just wanted to focus on MicroStrategy there because it looks like Sailor's adding more here. Global cryptocurrency market capitalization stands at 2.93 trillion, showing a 1.04% decrease over the last day. Bitcoin's market dominance currently sits at 63.39%, reflecting a slight 0.01% decline. Boy, those numbers seem negligible. Trading activity intensified with 97,249 traders liquidated for 176.13 million over 24 hours as interest fell 4.62% to 117.06 billion. Sorry, that was tough for me to read there. I apologize. The crypto fear and greed index remains at neutral reading of 54, indicating a balanced market sentiment. The crypto market seems relatively strong here. Day trader says never heard of Willy Woo. Okay, so you and me are the same. Because I hadn't either. Investors will closely monitor this week's critical economic events. We do have on Tuesday, we have the goods trade balance, housing price data, JOLTS data, and CB consumer confidence. On Wednesday, we get GDP data, PCE data, Chicago PMI, pending home sales, gas and crude data. On Thursday, we get the jobless claims and the ISM manufacturing data. And then on Friday, we get the non-farm payrolls. Also, this might be a good time to remind you, I actually will not be here on Friday, but the show will go on. It will be 13 and Kevin. Closing your week out with a bang, as they say, on Friday, as I will be down near Paynes Valley, living it up. Investors will closely monitor the economic, the jobs report, personal consumption, expenditures, inflation, and the Institute of Supply Management Purchasing Managers Index will also be in focus. Additionally, earning reports from major tech companies like Apple, Microsoft, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and Meta could influence the broader sentiment. Here we go. Here's Willy Woo. If anyone, in fact, I'm going to give you the link to this chart since I don't have producer's backup here today. If anyone was looking for someone to follow and Willy Woo is the one that you wanted to follow, here you go. Prominent cryptocurrency analyst. And I'm not making fun of him, by the way. Let me just make it very, very clear here. I'm not making fun of him. It's just a funny name. It's fun to say. I don't know who he is. It's just fun. Prominent cryptocurrency analyst Willy Woo noted on X that Bitcoin fundamentals have turned bullish. I'd say things on a massive bull run here, providing a favorable environment to break all-time highs. Woo highlighted increasing capital flows into the network with both total and speculative flows bottoming out. Quote, all dips are for buying under the present regime, end quote. Through cautioning that Bitcoin's short-term movement may be limited due to overextension. Okay. Meanwhile, analyst Michael Vandepop, that is also a fun name to say, if I do say so myself, said that altcoins are turning bullish. So now they're not shit coins anymore. They're altcoins because they're turning bullish. Careful with these. Although I will say we do see some huge movements in altcoins. So I guess if any of you have some good ones that you think are worth noting, let me know. Anil is saying Willy Woo is the most popular analyst in the crypto space. Anil, I am clearly behind and I need to read some more things about that. Holy smokes. Robert also saying the same thing. Deaf heard of Willy Woo. Okay, I'm clearly behind. I will try and catch up with you folks. No question about it. Altcoin season will be violent. Can you expand on that, day trader? Like violent to the upside or both? Maybe it's some altcoins are going to wipe people out. Some are going to mint new Bitcoin millionaires. Let me know. Okay. It's been an absolutely horrific bear markets for altcoins, and a lot of expectations have crushed in the past quarter. I spend all my time figuring out what has happened. Indicators show green. Let's discuss them. That thread is probably pretty interesting there. Crypto analyst Ali Martinez said that Bitcoin's accumulation trend score is nearing 1, signaling intense accumulation and strong holder conviction. Is that what you folks see out there? I definitely feel that way. Kind of disappointed my order didn't fill on the way back down. I would have felt really, really good about that. But nonetheless, actually some pretty good charts to go with here. The cryptocurrency market continues its maturation process amid growing institutional adoption, with U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission Chair Paul Atkins recently calling for clearer regulatory framework to help the industry thrive in the United States. Current administration, definitely Bitcoin friendly, certainly more Bitcoin friendly than the last one. So we'll see if this ramp continues to take Bitcoin and other coins to new all-time highs. Okay. Let me catch up on some of the comments here. Woohoo, long weekend for Ryan. That's 2 in a row, Jane. 2 in a row. I kind of took Friday off. Pete, port traffic will come to a standstill in a few weeks. Clock is ticking. Boy, oh boy, Pete. Still waiting for all that negativity stuff. Man, oh man. Quinn says, no, Willy Woo is not the biggest analyst popular analyst in the crypto space. Okay. I still think I should do some reading on that. Yes, violent to the upside. Day trader answering regarding the altcoins. Yes, violent to the upside. Not all of them. Only the strongest will lead. Many will not benefit from the market rise. So really, this comes down to what? A coin picker's market. Like you really need to pick the correct coins in order to benefit from that violent move. What are some of the factors that make this happen? Is it the utility of the coin? Is it the popularity of the coin? The meme-ness of the coin? Let me know. How do you pick good altcoins? Still locked in with BTC as my largest position for stocks and crypto. BTC to me, the only crypto, or if you could only own one, BTC would be the one. Okay. All right. Oh, and Izzy, good morning. Great to see you. Oh, here you go. Yes. Thank you, day trader. Thank you, day trader. So here's some top coins for you if you're looking for it. You're one of our resident Bitcoin experts here. Izzy here mentioning ONDS secures a $3.4 million deal from the Iron Drone Raider. I don't know, some of you might have seen it over the weekend. Jake Bujastic had tweeted the CEO. CEO responded to him. basically said that there's a lot of FUD out there, was puzzled by some of the overreaction in the market, but basically said, I have to be careful about what I say about guidance, but look forward to our next earnings call. And that's kind of what I'm doing here. I did see the news here that they secured a $3.4 million order. We'll see how it trades today, right? The news is great. We're expecting news. We're expecting a full 2025 and 2026 full of news here, but the stock really has to trade better because the price action has been poor. Price action has definitely been poor. But good to see. Good to see. Bitcoin is king. Indeed, it is. Okay, day trader, this was the big question that I wanted to answer. It looks like you're doing it for me here. Yes, you want utility and virality. SOL earns more in fees than all other networks while having the lowest fees. There you go. There's some good things to look into. Day trader, really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. Okay, let's go back. Let's talk about some of the other stocks here. One of the stocks I wanted to focus on here today. Oh, I lost my watermark. Let me go ahead and throw that back on here real quick. See, every time there's got to be something wrong with that crypto chart or something cached in there, because every time I go to that crypto chart, I have to do this again. I'll figure it out when I'm not on camera here. Let's talk about Boeing. Okay, so here we go. We were taking a look at Boeing recently. This is a highly followed stock, really important stock, frankly. Here's Boeing trading up to this downtrend line, and actually this morning here, we're above. Now, what's going on here with Boeing? Let's take a look. Price target raise here. Oh, Carpenter Technology price target raise. Wait, what? Anyway. Hang on, I was looking. There was another raise in there. Sorry, let me see if I can find that here. That was not what I was looking for there. Oh, give me a sec. Okay. There was something else in the newsfeed earlier. Couldn't find it. Anyway, doesn't really matter. Thought there was another upgrade that I was looking for in there that I can't really find. I'll go back and take a look at that. Doesn't change anything here. Boeing's still up about 2% here in the pre-market and finally breaking above this trend line. So the reason that I'm bringing this to your attention here, do we hold above this trend line? Do we actually turn this around? Because if we do, we've got the 500-day a scotch above where we're at right now, 188 and change. And then we also have that round 200 number, which we've talked about really trying to reclaim here for Boeing. One of the things, we're not quite overbought yet, but we might be there soon. So we'll see here on Boeing. I'm actually looking for this. If we can hold above this trend line here today, I'm thinking that this actually might not be a bad swing up to 200. We are at the top end of this resistance area, so I want to make sure that this resistance area actually falls first. I'm going to be a little bit more patient. I'm not just going to buy it just because we peaked our head above. If we can stay above this, I suspect that over the next 19 points, they're probably going to be to the upside, and that would take out the 500-day moving average and then test that 200 level. That actually might make for a decent trade here. So Boeing, one of the stocks that I have on watch here today, don't have any new position in that or anything yet. And then the other thing here is we just had earnings. So this event here is totally out of the way and we should be all right. So Boeing, one of the stocks that I wanted to take a look at, I could have sworn I saw an upgrade earlier, but I couldn't find it there in the newsfeed. I wonder what happened. Carpenter Technology. Yeah, this is really, really interesting. I saw something earlier there, can't find it. Anyway, sorry about that. Okay, Riyadh Air willing to buy Boeing planes from canceled Chinese orders, CEO says. There we go. Thank you. Anne-Marie, who's back? Anne-Marie, this is a great segue. In fact, I'm so excited, I'm going to have a sip of tea. Folks, I'm happy to announce Anne-Marie will be back tomorrow. Anne-Marie is back from her vacation, her well-earned vacation, by the way. We're going to have that segment here for you tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. And folks, start thinking about some of the stocks that you want to break down and see some trades on, because we are going to go ahead and ask her about that. Anne-Marie, thank you very much. This is, I believe, what I was looking for earlier. There might have been another story attached to this, but nonetheless, really good news here for Boeing. Remember, we actually shared some news with you last week about them not letting anything that's going on with China affect the turnaround. CEO was adamant. Here we go. Another news story here today. Really good stuff there on Boeing. Okay, let's see. 8:45. What else do you want to take a look at? What else do you want to take a look at? As long as parts aren't falling off the plane and planes stop backing into each other, we'll be all right. Yeah, we'll see. I haven't heard any reports there. Thankfully, I'm trying, to be honest with you, I'm trying not to think about that. I get on a flight here on Thursday. And yeah, I don't really want to think about that. I want everything to go smoothly. Okay. That pretty much does it here for, I guess, you know what else we can do? We can check out Benzinga Pro morning report here. Looks like the Dow has kind of gone green. Remember, we're saying we were pretty flattish pretty much all morning here. Dow's gone green. Bitcoin is absolutely ripping. Don't have any IPO data here today. Eat It, which is one of the stocks that we were talking about recently, the gene editors that had really been performing well. There was a newsprint that we got, about a month ago that really kind of drove Eat It. That got a buy rating here today. It is from Wainwright. I know, I'm sorry, but that did get a buy rating here today. Something to keep in mind. Also, Twilio here got a hold from Jefferies. That's actually flat here in the pre-market. Eli Lilly getting a downgrade here to reduce from HSBC, $700 price target. Eli Lilly has been just an absolute banger recently. It's $874 right now, so that's a pretty substantial difference there. Coinbase also getting a sell here from Compass with a 180 price target. That is surprising. Given the strength here in Bitcoin, I'm surprised. Coinbase has actually done a pretty good job. You know what? Let's start with Coinbase. Then we can go here to Microsoft, Devon, or excuse me, MSTR. We can absolutely do that. So here, let me go back to Pro here. Let's start with Coin. Is anyone interested in a Coinbase trade? I can't remember if there are coin traders here. Brett, we're going to hit the movers here pretty soon. Omex is cheap, crappy stock, right? I'm not confusing this with something else. Yeah, this is $1.67. We're definitely going to do that here when we cover the movers. Coin here, not quite a head and shoulders, a little bit janky though. This is kind of what I was looking at. Left shoulder, head, really didn't get a right shoulder here. It's kind of tucked in. Coin looking pretty good though. Recently had a death cross, gave 2 double birds to the death cross, did not care about it at all, at least so far. We've now closed above the 50-day a couple of times, do have the 200-day set in sight. That's only 18 points higher than where we're at right now. And with Bitcoin on a huge run, part of me wonders if Coinbase is worth looking at here today. Coinbase down 0.16%, while Bitcoin raging here today. So maybe there will be a little bit of a catch up here in Coin. All right. It's Monday. Let's see how the weekend was for good old 13. 13, how are you today?
I'm just trying to get everything worked out here. Can you hear me?
Yep. Everything's fine. Are you under a cyber attack too? Because
no,
my producer here today. I'm out here flying solo.
No, I was, I always have to, reset cookies every time I jump onto this thing. So for some reason, it set my mic and my headphones to something completely different. So I had to figure that out. But I'm good to go. I'm ready. Had a good weekend. Let's trade this market. What do we got going on here this morning?
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, we do not have a whole lot of news here today, number one. So one of the things that I've gone to here is I've just started to look at some other charts. I don't know about you, I actually kind of like Boeing here. If Boeing can hold above the trend line that we're trying to test and break here, I actually think we might have a potential swing long opportunity up to 200. So I talked about that a little bit. I just talked about Coin, which is basically flat here against Bitcoin, which is up in the pre-market here today. Bitcoin's been on a recent run, so I'm wondering if there's a trade in Coin. But I'm down to look at any charts here, and it looks like Brett doesn't care about the big names. He's ready to go to the little guys right away. I'd imagine he's not alone in that.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, for the Boeing chart, it looks like we're trying to get over a bit of a trend here.
Did you just say Boeing short?
No.
Okay.
I don't think
I'm making sure I'm hearing correctly because I could have said. I think you said Boeing chart.
Yes. So yeah, I said a bit of a downtrend here, but ever since February. So looks like it's trying to break over that this morning. We'll see if we get that and a recapture of the 500-day SMA. That'd be two things I'd be looking at. And then after that, you have the $200 price level where there has been significant consolidation there every time it gets up there. As a matter of fact, more consolidation up slightly above it, trying to hold above the $200 handle, not so much beneath it. But that's certainly going to be a big level to watch for, that 200.
Okay. Any other charts you want to take a look at? You want to do the movers? You want to get those out of the way, and then
let's get this short list of movers out of the way, because there wasn't a whole lot really moving this morning. Yeah, we could start with GLMD. That's fine.
Okay, interesting. When I actually sat down, I don't think GLMD was moving yet. It was PRTG at the top here. So nice little pop here for GLMD. Looks like signed term sheet for development of a novel semaglutide sublingual formulation. So this is going to be the weight loss angle here. 4.4% of the float shorted here with just 1 day to cover on an average volume of just shy of 1 million. Today, we've almost traded 21 million. What do you got here on this 2.1 million float stock?
Yeah, so that term sheet is signed with Intimus. They're going to be, this term sheet is really it's not non-binding. There's no real meat here that's going to, be legally binding for either company. This is just kind of outlining what the goals are. But this is just part of the process. It's not an agreement, per se. So that's important. The other thing is that they have 2 quarters of cash. This term sheet is for a formulation for the delivery of the peptides and semaglutides, so that they can be absorbed in the body. So it helps with the delivery via oral or injectable. That's what this is all about. But they have a couple of quarters of cash. Looks okay. They're going to have to raise capital at some point. Currently trading beneath its VWAP. It looks like it could end up going lower before it goes higher. That depends on in the next 5 or 10 minutes if it can hold above its 9 EMA here. So if it can, then we'll watch for a recapture of VWAP. And if we start trading over VWAP into the open, it might try to take another shot at breaking over 315 and holding above it this time. Okay.
All right, sweet. We'll see if we get that there. GLMD. I feel like we've traded this one recently. I can't put my finger on it, but
you want to know where my levels are? Because we have.
So I'm not wrong. Okay, so here, was it in September?
It might have been.
Maybe even middle of March?
Yeah, it could have been in September. That looks like it looks absolutely like it could have been the day that we or the time that we traded this. But
yeah, so
I've got levels going from about 450 all the way up to 1050.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely okay. Well, let's see. Let's see if we can get above the 350 level first. If we do, then we'll go examine some of your crazy levels and see where we end up getting there. 350-ish seems to be one of
315 has been the level we've been trying to get over here this morning. No closes above it.
Okay, 350 also then from the previous run that it made there in March. So let's see if we can clear these two out. Then we'll go for the crazy levels, GLMD. Okay, next here on the list is going to be PRTG. This is Portage Biotech. We've definitely traded this one a number of times before. Good morning, Lion. Good morning, Jay. It's great to see you folks. And yes, Chump and Yassine, we will definitely take a look at SoFi and Sezzle. No problem. Portage Biotech shares are trading higher after the company reported confirmatory preclinical efficacy data for Port 7. I didn't look into what Port 7 is, so hopefully you did. I will say the impulse move retraced about 50%, and then it struggled to get above the VWAP there. So we want to make sure that there's more to this move here than just the impulse move. Otherwise, this might be a little bit of a disappointing one. Kind of seen that with some of these here. They might make that first initial move, but they really don't have any follow through, and that makes for poor trades for us the following day. So nonetheless, want to see if we can get through the VWAP here. 1297. You want to call it 13? I won't fight you on it. 10.12% of the float shorted here. Days to cover is 1. That's on 1.19 million shares of volume. The float here is 1.3 million shares. 13. What do you got here? Ticker PRTG.
So this is, oncology, as you might have imagined, but they have different platforms for their port and then the number that are used to target different things like melanoma, solid tumors. And this one is also in collaboration with Merck. they're trying a combination of Port 7 and Keytruda. So there's that collaboration going on. I think that's important for what I'm about to talk about next. The PRTG did fall out of compliance with I believe it's NASDAQ. So they have a deadline on June 9th to submit materials to have them reviewed and see if they're going to end up being able to stay on the exchange or not. So there's that deadline that's coming up. That's June 9th. The company also does need cash, and so I would expect that one of two things could end up happening. They'll either have to raise it like we've seen before, where they make an offering, or they may have a situation where where Merck ends up buying some kind of preferred shares or takes a stake in the company. It's because they're in collaboration with them on some of their drugs. So that's just a thought. There's no guarantee that could happen, but the company does need cash. So I would expect that some capital raise is going to be coming at some point, especially when you have that June 9th deadline. There's a couple of those two things are really, really concerning. But if we're going to trade this, just be sure you do not hold this, because those are things that you don't want to hold for.
Okay. All right. Really good breakdown there. PRTG. Next, I think everyone's ready for this one. MLGO is back. This is officially an ex-girlfriend now at this point. It's on in play.
Crazy ex-girlfriend.
Crazy. This thing was holding 8 pretty well in the pre-market. Here we are popping above 1050, holding pretty much right here. We do have some news here. Micro Algo announces strong net income and cash growth in 2024, driven by robust demand for central processing algorithm services. Sees full year sales here of 75.3 million there. That's definitely a positive. That news fresh as of this morning, plus almost 36% here on that move. That's important because short interest here, 21.09% with 1 day to cover. That's going to be on 25 million shares of average volume. The thing is going to be pretty volatile here today, or pretty well traded here today. We've already traded 5.5 million. Float here 9.82, 13. What do you think on MLGO? You got crazy levels we might come into again here?
Sure. I'm not really gonna take the news with a grain of salt, or really the whole shaker. Really, I have no angle on their financials, and they just suddenly come out here and say our fiscal year sales are going to be 75.3 million. Okay, where's the data? It's running. I think that's all we need to look at here, and let's just find some levels that we can use for our entry and exits. And I think that's all I really want to cover with this, because this is, I have no angle on their financials. They come up with, they just give us this, they drop this in our lap. Anyway, I don't know if I want to trust it or not, but all I can trust is just the way we've been trading this and making money that way. That's about all I'm going to lean on for MLGO if I end up trading it today. It's just former resistance and support levels, and the demand and the supply zones. That's about all we can really go with, I think.
If anyone has had bags from trying to trade this the past couple of days, or maybe at some point in the past, today is your lucky day. Get out of them. Jane here.
Baggage claim is here.
Jane, that's right. Jane here, starting early out MLGO with a gain here on this pop all here right. Today. Probably will not be the only one here today. So, okay, looking pretty good. MLGO. Next here is going to be AMPY. This is Amplify Energy. They did actually have some news here. They reported after hours on Friday here, and it ends the merger with Juniper Capital. Amplify Energy and Juniper Capital announced termination of previously announced agreement and plan of merger. This is trading higher by 14%. This was actually higher on Friday. Yeah, this was even higher here on Friday. It's come back in. So far, we're holding 3. We're actually right beneath the VWAP. I am expecting a VWAP test right out of the gate here on AMPY here today. Quick look around the horn. Short interest, 3.18% of the float shorted, 1.29 days to cover. Average volume here is just over 500,000, and the float's 39 million. What do you think, 13? Think we get a move here in AMPY today?
I didn't cover this one, so I'm not sure we're going to get out of this. But when I look at their balance sheet, I'm kind of wondering what was the plan here when you don't have this, any cash. And now you're terminating a merger. and they're citing market volatility. I'm not sure what to think without doing some digging here. It's, I guess if I was an AMP holder, I'd be a little concerned. But let's look at the technicals and see what we got here. Well, I see a bit of a downtrend that looks like it could be getting broken. Let's see here. Maybe if we ignore that one not phantom print really, but this one spike out of nowhere and then it came right back in that took it up to 367. You have a downtrend that the price is looking like it's trying to break right now after it's this recapture of VWAP. So price is now trading over VWAP. We're going to want to see that hold above it going into the open, because if it does, then we might see some higher prints. Next area of resistance is going to probably be about 320, and then 335 to 340 could be the next area after that. But it certainly looks like it's trying to break this downtrend that it's in.
Okay.
If you drew that on your
no, I didn't. Sorry.
Yeah, on the 5-minute chart, I just have a line drawn. And, I'm just ignoring that one spike out of, there you go.
There it is.
Just watching for that to get broken. That's about all I've got for Ampy. I didn't cover this one.
Sergeant Sexy saying, Ryan in 13, are you worried about the Chinese chip? I'm short NVIDIA. No. As a matter of fact, I'm not worried even like a little bit about that chip. I'm not short NVIDIA, but I'm entirely not worried.
There's other reasons to short NVIDIA, not because Huawei came out with something.
And for anyone that might not be up on that, here is the story that we talked about earlier. If you want to read up on that story does a pretty good job of breaking it down, so you can familiarize yourself with that. But Sergeant Sexy, no, not worried. Okay, next, OMEX. This was running earlier. It looks like a number of people are already at this one here today. OMEX looks like 180 is going to be the double top. This was from Friday. We actually already tested that here in the pre-market. We still have the trend line 13 that we drew on Friday. We'll see if that comes into play here again today. In fact, you know what I should do is I should extend this to make this even a little bit easier to see. That trend line looks like it's intersecting at about 2 there on OMEX. We did have some news here. Odyssey Marine Exploration confirms sufficient operational funding and welcomes new executive order by the Trump administration. Stocks up 14% here. Quick look at the short interest. 7.88% of the float is shorted with 1.94 days to cover. That comes on 13.6 million shares of volume. We've already traded 18.5 million here. Floats 24 million. What do you got? Ticker OMEX.
Well, the only other one I looked at today was Seagon. Didn't look at this, but I would say let's just focus on that trend line. It is kind of setting up with a bit of a bull pennant here in the pre-market. So what I would imagine is going to happen next, if this does resolve to the upside, is we're going to take the next leg or two up and hit that trend line that you drew, which is going to be if it goes up there and hits it at the open, it would be at about $2. That it's going to go to. So that'd be the next resistance area for me on OMEX is $2.
I still think 180, the Friday intraday high, is also going to be a level there.
Well, we just hit that actually.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like we need to get above 180. Next spot there puts us at the trend line. But these are two really good upside targets here on OMEX.
I think that test of 180 and then backing off, that's exactly what you want to see, because it seems like the next move up to that 180 could be the one that takes it over and higher. Especially
if it continues to form out this flag here. We get volume right out the opening print with you on that one. Okay, we'll see there on OMEX. BBAI. Making a return to the list here. Was there? I actually didn't have this on my list. I noticed that it's on here. Someone mentioned this, I think, in the chat today as well. I might have missed it there. Oh no, bury the goat. BBAI has some nice pre-market volume. It's all right. It's definitely more elevated than it was last week, but it is what it is. BBAI reports here in just a couple of days, 3 days here. Did we have any fresh news on this today? Yes, we did. Wolf. Yeah, this is today, right? Yeah. Wolf, Hadelstein, Alder, Freeman, and Hertz. Oh, this is a, looks like, yeah, no, this is one of the ambulance chasing lawsuit PRs there. I beg your pardon. I don't think that's really anything of note. If you think differently, let me know, but I don't think that's really anything of note. Quick look around the horn here. Still pretty highly shorted. 25% of the float shorted with 1.12 days to cover. Average volume on this stock is 60 million. We've only done 7.7 here in the pre-market. Float's gigantic at 223. You think BBAI might be setting up for a trade here today, 13?
Well,
I mean, I'd watch 4 just as a level there.
Yep, never mind. That's what I was going to say. I think at this stage, I'd be keeping an eye on 4. That's what it looks like. It's because if you do a trend line on the top and bottom going back from to Friday, we're kind of in a bit of a almost a parallel channel, but it seems to be broadening. So I'd say it's more of a rising, broadening wedge. If we're going to move off the 65 EMA and go back to test 4, I could see this going as high as like in the 430s to 440s before it runs into the next area of resistance. So I don't know what's going to happen after that, if it's going to come down and test the bottom of the trend line again and bounce around that or what. But from here, I think 4, and then that 430 to 480. 430 to 440 area would be next.
Okay. All right, good stuff there on BBAI. I think that's pretty much it here from the list.
I still have one CGON.
Oh, I'm sorry. What is the
CGON? This isn't showing up for you?
No.
It's up almost 40%.
Oh, I think I know why. Yep, it has not traded 600,000 shares of volume yet. It's only at 500,000. But this is good because my settings knocked this one out. Good morning, Jay. My settings knocked this one out. What's going on with it? Oh, you know what? CGON. Okay, hang on a sec. Let me just read the whim. I'm going to turn it over to you. CG Oncology shares are trading higher after the company announced a whole bunch of drug names that I'm not going to even butcher. Monotherapy data was presented at the American Urological Association annual meeting. Stock is up almost 40% here. This actually does have some pretty good coverage. 75 million shares in the float. The average shares traded is under 1 million. We've already traded half of that here today, so we're definitely going to exceed that here today. That might get wild. 12.02% of the float shorted here with 5.5 days to cover. Boy, this actually might have some squeeze potential. 13, what's going on with this one?
Yeah, so they just are releasing some news about a couple of progress reports on their the 2 cohorts of their drug. They've designated bond 003. That's cohort C and cohort P that they were giving the information on. Cohort C is currently in phase 3, while cohort P is currently in phase 2. So cohort C looking like the next piece of news that we could get would be phase 3 results, where with P it's going to be likely the phase 2, but also they're going to announce the next clinical trial, or they're going to announce the next stage. So cohort C is rounding the end of it. With phase 3, P is not so much. Then you pointed out the short interest. That was what really caught my eye. 12% with 5.5 days to cover. This has the potential to short squeeze, but right now it doesn't seem like it's quite got the attention yet. But we'll just keep an eye on it, see if it does. Okay,
good stuff there. I like that. None other on the list here, right? We can go back to
right. Let's take whatever the chat wants to look at.
It was Chump. Chump wanted to take a look at SoFi. So let's do that here real quick. SOFI. Here is your SoFi. This was one of the SPACs that we deemed successful, right? I think we had that conversation last week. We put DraftKings on that list as well. Here's SoFi. This is actually made a pretty, so here, I don't have the trend line drawn on here, but let me plop it on here, because it does look like this is kind of what we're testing right now and breaking above. Can we hold above it? That's going to be the question. Say again.
I said, oh, hey, I didn't have that drawn.
I was going to say, yeah, I actually think I drew this before, but my drawings got erased. Nonetheless, here, this is what we're testing here today. As you can see, the move down from the $16-ish highs was a nice clean bounce off that 500. We did a really good job recapturing the 200. It looked like, again, maybe we could have had an inverse head and shoulders here, but stock said, no way, we're going right to the trend line. That, to me, is what's going to be next here on SoFi. Great job closing above the 50. That's going to be close 1. Looks like we're going to get close 2 here today, although I don't want to get ahead of myself. The one thing to note here, earnings tomorrow. So if it depends what your trade plan is for this. This is going to be before the market. So tomorrow morning, the stock's going to report earnings. if holding the stock through the earnings print is not part of your plan, this is going to be a day trade for you only, or a target here for you only. Let's actually take a really quick look here. Looks like this does a pretty good job beating some of these earnings estimates. Yeah, this one beats pretty often, so it'll really be curious to see what they say about either the consumer or business going forward here. Quick look around the horn like we always do. 13.48% of the float shorted with 2.3 days to cover there. The float on this stock, huge, 1.09 billion. So of all of the stocks that we look at, this is easily going to be one of the biggest. And on average, it trades about 50 million shares a day. Okay, 13, you got any levels or anything else that jumps off the chart that I may have missed here on a SoFi?
So for me, I'm looking at 1380 and thinking that's a pretty interesting level that we need to get above.
Okay.
If you draw a line there, it'll probably be easier for you to see why I think that, oh my God, when I look to the left, it's even better. And it might not be 1380 exactly, but somewhere between 1350 and 14, I think that's where you're going to find some pretty big resistance. Yeah, look at that. Going all the way back, to its IPO, that was that 1380 or that area, that's been in play ever since the beginning. And now here we are coming right back up to it. We're testing it as resistance. I have to think we're going to see that be a bit of a roadblock for the price action. I think we do get resisted here, and maybe if we still hold above the 200-day SMA, the next time it comes up here, it might end up breaking through. But I think that's what I would be concerned about, is that area right there not being able to get above and close it. And we're going into earnings. We've been kind of coming off the bottom, rising up into earnings. So there also could be that profit taking on the earnings print. I think we're going to really need to pay attention to what happens at that level. 1380 seems like a big area of resistance.
Okay, good stuff there on SoFi. We'll see what we get there.
Any of that makes sense? I mean, when I look to the left, I see how long
Absolutely
it's been in play. It's just like, yeah.
Yeah.
You're missing data. You're missing a lot.
Yeah, I always am, dude. I always, but even so, I mean, this is clear. This was clearly a level before.
Yeah.
Chump's asking here, does the collection of student loans make a difference? Could that be a catalyst for SoFi?
I think so. Because here's the thing about that. My understanding is that program is on hold for now, and they're still in a forbearance period until I think it's September. And then once that period ends, all those student loan holders are going to have to start paying those back again. And that's going to I think that's going to put a very big dent in consumer strength, because now the households are having to refigure their finances, since they may have thought they were going to get their student loans repaid or taken care of, and now that's not the case. It could lead to hardships. So I absolutely think that could have some kind of impact. We'll have to see exactly what, but my whole thing is that it's going to harm households that were expecting relief, and they're not getting it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll see what that means here for SoFi. Maybe that will. Maybe we'll get a pretty decent trade out of this one. Okay.
I like that, Izzy. I think that's quite possible. Sorry to interrupt you there, Ryan, but he's saying SoFi pops and then drops after earnings. I could see that.
Okay. Good stuff there. All right, next here, XIII. This was, I like this stock. I mean, I don't like the buy now, pay later, but I like the stock here. I especially like the stock, yeah, of course, because I made money on it, but also because Tim Melvin recommended it, and it was a monster, one of our biggest show wins here in some time. This actually recently split to, what was the day of that split? This was March 31st. Did a 6-to-1 split to make it a little bit more affordable at the end of March there. That also increased the float. We're at just about 14 million here on XIII. Looking at this chart, got a trend line that pretty much jumps off the board here too. We've recently taken that out. Can we continue to close above that and go higher? Maybe 60 would be my next spot here on XIII. You got anything on this one? Let me see if there's short interest on. Oh, actually, beg your pardon. I'm sorry about that. 26.27% of the float shorted with 3.88 days to cover. Given the average volume and the float here, I actually think that might come into play here a little bit. So possible squeeze potential here on Sezzle. What do you got, 13? Any levels on? I know it's been a while since we've looked at this one, so you might actually need some time to do that.
No, it's okay. I mean, you got the trend line there. That's one thing I'm looking at here is a break of that trend line that should take us up higher. You would think 60 is going to be in play. I think that's going to be the case, but I want to see the price get over 52 first. When you look at a larger time frame, like you go to a daily or weekly, it seems that we have a bit of a cup with handle here. Now we are trying to resolve this. We're coming to the end of the handle stage. We're trying to resolve this and go back up to 80 and higher. I just don't know that we'll necessarily see that because, like you, I'm really wary of the buy now pay later trade.
Yeah.
So, and especially with the tightening consumer, and I'm just kind of wondering, are they going to be able to, pay those short-term loans back? But looking at the pattern here, it would seem like it's going to go to 80. I just don't know if that's going to happen or not, but that's what the technicals are saying. So.
Okay. No, the cup and handle here. That's actually a pretty good take on that. We'll see if we get any action on that. Sezzle, this is an interesting one. They also report here in 9 days. So next Wednesday, Sezzle reports. Factor that into your trade if you take it at all. IWM, the last one that we had here on the list, at least so far. Good morning, Rafat. I think I might have missed you there. He was asking to take a look at the IWM here. IWM has made a really significant bounce off of this 172 level. We did retake the 20-day moving average. I think the last time we looked at this chart together, we talked about this being a trend that we really wanted to take out. We now have several closes above that. In fact, we do have 3 closes above it if we close above it here today. The level to look at here, pretty much all signs point to 200, if you ask me. We have the 500-day moving average at 201. We have the 50-day moving average at 201, and we have the round number there at 200. This, to me, seems to be the next spot. We're stat 6 points above. We're a little bit gappy in here up to about 197. Well, let's see if we can take out that 200. This is a little bit green here in the pre-market, about the rest, or about the same as the rest of the market, maybe lagging a little bit behind. S&P futures are up 0.15%. This is up 0.1%. So this is actually looking pretty good. But this 200 level, these moving averages right here, right around 200, 201, this is the spot that I'm looking for here on IWM. 13, anything else here? Also, by the way, volume point of control going back to the fall of last year, also 201. Very, very clearly an important spot.
Yeah, the recapture and hold above the 20-day SMA, that's great. I think that indicates a big change in the trend here because when you look at what's been happening with the 20-day SMA ever since it lost that support, well, it kind of oscillated a little bit, but it had a really big drop back in February earlier this year. And it's kind of been riding the 20-day SMA down. We did have a few prints over it, but it ultimately came back down. So I want to see some more prints above the 20-day SMA now. But next areas of upside resistance that I see here are going to be looks like somewhere in the 195 handle seems to be the next one. But to your point about in the 200 area, there's a lot of resistance in that area. You have the 500-day SMA, which is at 201.19. You have the 50-day SMA, which is 201.11. You have this high from August 16th, 2022. That was an out of nowhere spike, and it didn't return to that level for some time. That's at 201.99. And then you also have the 2023 high, which is 205.49. There's a lot of areas in the early 200 handle that are going to be significant amounts of resistance. So we're going to need to see some real big. I would have to think that a major policy change or something that has to do with rates could end up being the catalyst that could break through all those. But if we don't get anything like that, then it could be a slog through getting all through those levels that I was mentioning.
Good morning, Mike. Good morning, Robert. Robert, great to see you back here. I suspect maybe you went on vacation. I sent you an email. Let me know if you got that. If not, I can always resend it. Mike, good morning. Did you cover Omex yet? Yeah, we sure did. We sure did. Let me know what your take is on Omex. I'm sure we're going to be going back to that here today. Okay, that was all of the stocks that I had here. Robert also mentioned Twilio. We might as well take a look at that. Sure. Yassine mentioning Tesla. We already kind of took a look at Tesla given the news story there about the cheaper model in China. But we can do that again as well. Let me just add these to the list here so I can remember what's going on. All right. Let's do it. Let's start with Tesla here real quick.
Okay.
So the big thing, and I'll just kind of reiterate what I was saying earlier on Tesla, we have made a bullish move here. What we're really looking for is some continuation of that bullish move, right? We broke out of the triangle. We did a great job holding the 215-ish, 220-ish support that we had outlined a number of times. We took out several moving averages here. We kind of bounced off the 500. We took out the 20-day moving average. We took out the 50-day moving average. We're on deck to take out the 200-day moving average here today. We already took the trend line out here today. So to me, this 290 area, really we're at a resistance area. This up to 300 is going to be tough to get through. But I think if it does, that's going to be pretty good. The next spot we have above that, 335. And I think that there was another, about 325, 330 also might be some resistance. Okay, 13. I already gave my opinion here on Tesla. This is a bullish move. Remember, I'm still holding a small chunk of TSLL make calls that I thought were dead in the water. They're back. What do you got here, Tesla?
That 200-day SMA is where we're at right now. It's had a nice run in a very short amount of time. Let me see how far exactly. Looking like we're approaching almost 29%, 30% here on this run ever since we started this back in Monday of last week. I think that 300 is going to be in play, and it could even be higher. If we get above the 200-day SMA in order to reach 300, this could end up going on a run up to maybe 310 before we start to see some significant pullback. If I'm a Tesla bull, I'm going to definitely want to see more closes above the 50-day SMA. I wouldn't want to get ask for too much and look for multiple closes above the 200 right now, but it's entirely possible. But I also have this level at 273.60 that was put in from October 28th, and that's been a level that I've been keeping an eye on. Need to see multiple closes above that as well. Have not been able to do that actually since we traded beneath it. You go back to March and April, you have not had 3 closes above that price ever since it came down. So that's what I think we need to see if we're going to continue with this upside. Okay. Nice looking double bottom though from Tesla though. I think that this looks like it is trying to turn around, but we need some of those confirmations to come in.
Agree. Okay. Robert, you were on vacation. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And okay, we'll talk soon. So that was Tesla. Twilio was that was what Robert was mentioning here. Robert, I think you said Twilio looks pretty good. Looks pretty good for maybe a swing long here. Does actually look like we've taken out the 20-day downtrend. I'll tell you what, this move down, all of the tariff tantrum, oh my God, the world's ending and we're on our way to the next Great Depression. It looks like a lot of the charts are kind of turning around now, showing us that we're getting above these 20-day moving averages. Part of me wonders if the bottom is in. I know that might not be a popular opinion, but part of me wonders that. Twilio here, same deal. We actually took out the 200-day moving average and we took out that 20-day moving average. I've got the next spot here, 101.16. Sure, maybe there's some resistance at that round 100 level, but 101.16 really seems to be the next spot for me. They do report earnings here in 3 days. It's after the market closes. Robert, are you holding that for earnings? Is that part of your trade plan? Let me know. And let me know if you have any insight into this from your professional career as well. 13, do you see anything here on the chart that really kind of stands out to you at all?
So you see the low that we had there back in, what was this, April 7th?
Yep, right here.
It should be 77.51. So put a horizontal line there at 77. We'll say 77.50. Let's put a horizontal line there.
You got it.
And then do me the favor of zooming out.
Got more data this time, baby.
Yep, that looks like that came right down to a resistance turn support area, big time. And it's been bouncing off that, recapturing the 200. I think for now, for me anyway, the bottom for Twilio is likely in. I think that's just a magnificent bounce off of a key support area. So we'll see if this has follow through. I mean, 2 closes above 200-day SMA and the 20-day SMA now. Looking for a third. Might come into resistance around 100. And that's you also have the 50-day SMA bearing down on that level as well. So for me, that's what I'm going to be watching for. Is I would be looking for what happens at 100, if we can, if we're probably going to get resistance there, but that's going to be the key breakout spot for me. And then we want to see support for those 220 day, 20-day SMAs, because if we start losing those, then we're likely going to go back to where we were before with those that key support area that we just bounced off of. So that's what I'm going to be watching for. 100 to the upside, be resistance. To the downside, probably around 89, 90, where those SMAs are.
Okay. Robert here. Thank you for answering my question. Yes, I'm holding Twilio. I love the service and I do use it. Made a lot on past earnings swings and good flow looking for 110. So it absolutely looks like your plan is first of all, you have a very specific spot, which is great, but you're also planning to hold this through earnings. Great, great, great. There you go.
Well, look at 110
there on Twilio.
Look at 110. I see exactly why that'd be interesting. There's also a consolidation area here. Yep. That's where the price went up to in March. And it's just a matter of retaking levels, but it's just going to be about that 50-day SMA. It's like one of the last obstacles, and then you just have previous levels in the way.
Good stuff. All right, good stuff there. I think Ed, let's see, how much time? We got 6 minutes. We got time, baby. Let's go. Ed, I think you asked for Hood earlier. And folks, I am trying to grab any of the stocks that you folks asked about. I think I grabbed them all. The only one in there that I haven't got to yet is Broadcom, ticker AVGO. We'll see if we have time to get to that. But nonetheless, here, Hood next. This has been a popular one recently. Do we have an inverse head and shoulders here? I'm just going to ask outright. Not even going to give my breakdown. Do we? Is it janky on the right shoulder, or what do you think? Kind
of does look that way, but also it kind of makes the neckline a little bit janky too. I mean, you can look at it however you want. I still think it looks bullish, regardless if you can assign a pattern to it or not. It's just going to be a question for me if we can get above this or hold above this $50 area, because that seems to be the current resistance right now that it's trying to get over. We're trading above it right now in the pre-market. So we're going to want to see that be support in the regular session if it's still up there. But I think that's a very, very important level we have to watch for with Hood is $50, and how we close this week. If it's going to be multiple closes above $50, multiple closes beneath it. If we start closing beneath it, I think that would be more of a bearish sign for Hood. I really would want to see some closes above $50. I think that's going to be what needs to happen in order to take this higher. Next area of resistance looks like to be about 55. On the way down after hitting the high in February, I tried to have a dead cat bounce that took it up to 55, and then it hasn't been back there since. And now we are approaching it. So 50 and 55, important levels here for Hood.
Okay. I like that. I especially like this 55. We're definitely at a resistance level now. It does seem, at least where we sit here in the pre-market, S&P futures ticking up to a new pre-market high as we speak here. Does sure seem like Hood set up for a bullish day and set up to take out this first $50 resistance area that you just covered there, 13. I like 55 again, and then right after that, I like that all-time high at 66 and change. So, okay, really good breakdown there. Hood. Ed, let me know if you have any other trade plan or anything on there that we might have missed on that one. Lion says Hood is going a lot higher.
Okay, I'm sure it will, but let's talk about today.
I love it. I love it. 13. Okay. How much time do we have? We still got time. We are cruising here today. Here's Broadcom. Here's ticker AVGO. This is actually at a pretty interesting. Oops, had my drawing tool on by accident. This is actually at a pretty interesting spot as well. We did recently take out the 200-day. It appears, especially if we continue to trade higher, that we're going to stop the death cross from happening. Now, in some of these other tech names, I hate to even say this with 13 present, but the death cross has mean diddly poo. But we'll see if we can stop it here from even happening on this chart. The one thing to keep in mind, we have a long-term trend line here. Well, I guess maybe not long-term. This goes back to the yen carry trade from August of 2024. This trend line we are testing to the upside, so it's great. We've gotten above the 50, we've gotten above the 200 there. We've also gotten above the 186.42 level that we had identified as a previous breakout level that had turned into support. We're pretty much right there. Can we continue to push here on Broadcom? 203.5 might be the next spot there. on Broadcom. I would say that let's see, we're sitting at 191 here. You're sitting right above that trend line. So the trend line here, and then the 100-day moving average. What do you got? 13 on Broadcom AVGO.
$200. $200 is what I'd be watching. We tested that as support back in January. Did print beneath it, but we never closed beneath it until February. So I think that was when it was support. Now it's going to be resistance. And ever since it has become resistance in February, it did have a bounce off the 200-day SMA, off that trend line as well. When it did bounce, it came right up to 200, was rejected, has not been up there since. So I think 200 is going to be the big level to watch for. We need to start closing over with AVGO. If we do that, then we can start looking at some of these other levels. I do like all these other levels of upside. I do like AVGO as well. I'm in it. This does need to hold above that trend line, does need to hold above the 50-day SMA. Not sure if we're going to avoid a death cross or not. It still is entirely possible, but it could significantly slow it down to where it may not cross it. Because it's it's a longer average than the 20, so it might still cross, but begin to pitch up. We'll see how it ends up doing it. If it's like a shallow crossing, how it kind of goes sideways sometimes. Mm-hmm. Then I wouldn't say it's got as much strength as more of a as another stock that would had a really down move through the 200 SMA. So I just would be watching for that 200, and then watch also for that 50-day SMA as support, along with what is this level? 185. 185 support, 200 resistance.
Okay, good breakdown there. Broadcom. Okay, we are less than a minute here till we open. In fact, we're 18 seconds until we open. I'm going to flip over to the main workspace here. Good morning, Smoke Tuna. It's great to see you. See what's going on. MLGO. Okay, that looks like it might be going for 11. We'll see. AMPY. Sorry?
OMX tried to break over that 180 level that we had identified. It got rejected going into the open here, and we're open. So we'll see what we get out of OMX. It's going to take another shot at going up to $2.
Okay, we are open here, folks.
All right, so BBAI falling out of that falling down from that trend. Support's going to be closer to 355. We'll see if we end up getting that. OMX, waiting to see if it's actually going to take off here or not. AMPY. Kind of sideways out of the open, no real movement. MLGO looks like that's starting to go back and forth here, trying to hold above VWAP. We'll see if this ends up going here. And we're getting some upside movement. It might be putting in a head and shoulders. So if it can't get through 1070, then that might be the right shoulder getting printed there. So be careful with MLGO. You want to, if this is going to break out and go higher, we need to take out 1070 and then 1120.
Okay. Seagon, you think we break this 32-ish level?
Perhaps if we get some more volume here. So far, hasn't we did have some better volume out of the gate here with over 200,000 shares traded, but we need to see some more volume flow into this thing. PRTG, this thing really falling right now, coming down to the 200 EMA on the 5 minutes.
Sorry to interrupt you. OMX, I just saw it. I'm actually going to throw this on my other chart here real quick. OMX might be breaking to the upside. I'm sorry, 13. I didn't mean to cut you off.
It's okay. No, let's just focus on OMX because that's trying to get above 181. Yep. Trying to break out of this 180. We can get up to that $2 area. You just see some more volume here. Looks like there's some sellers at 180, 185, and 190, with 190 having the largest concentration.
Yeah, 168 might be a decent spot there to try it if it comes back in.
Crow is trading CEP. That thing's back.
We're gonna have a money. There we go on OMX. 180 popped right through. Now it only ran 4 cents there. They're hitting more size here. 184. Watch for that spot to get tested again. OMX. OMX. Come on, get through 185. There we go. We're gonna get $2. We're gonna get $2 here.
Go to 2. There's 190.
Actually, I've got 191 prints on that move higher there. See if we can get $2 here.
They're really loading up that concentration at $2. So I don't know if it's going to break through that or not, but it's really loading up there. We'll see. And
I'll tell you this: if it gets to 2, I'm just going to peel at that point. Not even going to try to get cute there. Okay, they're seeing some size here. 191. Going to book some. Okay, here we go through 191. There we go. 2 is going to be your next spot. 195, your high print. Sorry, 13.
No, it's okay. We're saying the same stuff.
We're looking at the same stuff. We're trading the same stuff. Oh, go through 195 here. Go to 2.
Right up to that trend line. That'd be beautiful.
Wasn't someone saying that Omex was going to pop right out of the gate? Who was that? Mike, was that you, Mike?
It was either Mike or Crow.
It was somebody saying that this was going to pop right out of the gate here.
Oh, I like that 196 print. That was great.
Yeah, me too. And I do kind of looking at the action here. I do kind of think that this probably tests too. I don't know if it goes through it here, but I think we probably go up there and try that round number.
Looks like GLMD.
Stop here, 175 on the rest.
Looks like GLMD is trying to get going here as well. This
nice.
Yeah, this has some resistance coming up to the 285, 290 area. So if we just continue to get some more volume, it could push up into there. We're looking for this one to break 3 and close over 315. No closes in the pre-market above that price. So that's what we want to see there out of that one.
Love this. Green Machine, first of all, amazing YouTube handle. Well Excellent. Done. Thank you for Omex, and I'm done for the day. The market's been open for 4 minutes, and you're done. Yep. Are you going to the beach? Here we go, by the way. Omex going for that 2 spot.
Yep. They got some massive concentration there at 199 and 2.
Yep.
They take this out.
Well done.
This thing could
well
pop.
Done. There's 199.
Yep. Yeah, if they take out those sellers at 199 and 2, this thing could have a big pop and drop. So we'll see what happens. But
sideshow 20-cent run. Boy, everyone's banking on this. There's boom. 2 out if this goes through. Out rest there.
Yep, and now it can pull if it wants. I don't care.
I'm out. I'm completely out. I don't even have a trailer on. Okay, so it can pull, but it can't go to 10 because I pulled the trailer off. So, okay, good stuff right out of the gate there.
That's
nice.
Fantastic.
Sideshow. Everyone else that hit Omex, the Green Machine, thank you. Nice job, guys.
Look at this, and look at this pull now. They just bought a huge amount of sellers in. It's over 160,000.
Sometimes I love it when a plan comes together, 13.
I know. I just see the Murdoch cigar meme now. Getting some support from the VWAP here. Let's see if it turns around. I'm not going to trade this one at this point, but if it starts to set up for another trade again, I just need maybe another 5-10 minutes of more of data. We'll see if we can trade it again. But that was excellent trade out of the gate.
Yeah, that sure was.
That hit it.
That sure was, and I'm a little bit surprised it worked that well. By the way, plug getting mentioned here.
AMP going? AMPY?
AMPY plug going here. This is above 1. We've got a news story there. Here's your AMPY curling back up as well.
Yep.
Brett, yeah. Now I'm buying lunch for everybody. Oh, that's funny.
What's that? Portillo's? Great.
Why'd you have to go do that? I was having a great morning.
I'm just messing with you, man.
I know. I'm joking around too.
All right, so there's not so, as much strength in AMPI as there was Omex there. BDAI trying to recapture its VWAP right now, not having the best time doing so. MLGO kind of just hanging out. Gosh, this thing looks like it's going to go lower. If this does go lower, the next area of support is going to be about 960. CJON. Or Seagon. If you watched the Ghostbusters as a kid, you probably remember Egon. This is Cancer Egon. Seagon. PRTG, this came down to the 200 EMA. It's trying to find support, but VWAP is still providing resistance. 65 EMA was support, but it lost that. So PRTG has some upside difficulties ahead of it if it's going to go up.
Real quick, Trout Bum asked this earlier. Trout Bum, I'm sorry, man. We were in the middle of open Omex trade, so I didn't get to your comment, but your comment was timely AF because look at Neo here ripping out of the gate. Where's Rustam? Rustam, maybe he's so excited that he can't even get a sentence typed out here on the keyboard. Rustam, today is your day, brother. And Tropum, this is ripping here out of the gate. This thing opened up here at 409. Nice little move higher, 6% higher. We didn't have any news on this, did we?
Yeah, we do.
We did.
City basically is, I think, is causing this run here with their
buy rating, 30-day catalyst.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yep.
There we go.
I don't think there's anything you need to look beyond that. That's the whole reason it's moving right there. VGLS is about to fly. It says stormy shots and slots.
Stormy shots and slots. That is an incredible name. Let's go.
Oh, right. Look at this resolution of the head and shoulders on MLGO. That's ugly. But you know what? It was what we were seeing.
By the way, Omex, after that pull, which I think might end up being a healthy one, we actually didn't get back to the VWAP. That might be curling back here. Just took 190. Watch that 2 reclaim, maybe a pop above 203, your high print on that.
Ampy, that took us up almost to the next area of consolidation.
Man, this was a good call.
Yeah, that was really nice. That move that we just got over the VWAP here, it's still the same candle right now. It got as high as, what is this, 328? Yeah, 328 and a half. That's about where the low print of this consolidation from the after hours was before the after hours ended on Friday. So that's, we're coming up to that area of price action now. So that whole consolidation from Friday, that's the next area it's got to work its way through. I don't know how well it's going to work out for it, but might need a lot of time to get through all that AMPY.
So market here is really popping. SPY pulled a little. Looks like the NASDAQ pulled a little. Dow popped and went higher here. I'm seeing a lot of Tesla call flow here too. Tesla 291. We actually might have a 300 test coming up here on Tesla. Izzy mentioning Rivian. We don't want to see that up, Izzy. We don't want to see Rivian up. It is indeed up here. We took puts on that off the unusual option chain. Those might end up being blasted.
Keep an eye on OMAX. That's still holding above VWAP. BBAI came down to another level, previous level of 355. It's also where the 200 EMA is on the 5-minute.
Sorry, which one?
BBAI.
BBAI.
Yeah, this is a support area, so we'll see if this holds, and if it doesn't, then the next area beneath it is going to be 345. NEO still ripping. Ampy.
I'm actually starting to see some NEO calls too. Actually, I can't even believe I'm going to say this, but I'm seeing Ampy calls as well.
Interesting. I didn't realize they had calls.
Me either. They had contracts, 1,830 contracts there. It's only about 70K worth of USD though. So NBIS, by the way, seeing some NBIS calls getting bought. We've talked about this one, really probably making another run to 30 at some point. We are actually more likely to see Tesla test 300 today. Isn't that what I just said, Eshu? I was just saying that I think we're going to see a 300 test here. I would not be surprised at all if we see that pre-market high 292 and a half.
We both have said that we could see a test of 300 today. I think I even said we could go as high as 310.
I'd love it.
CJON, that's making its way back up, trying to chew through this consolidation, approaching the pre-market highs of 32.55, about 70 cents away. I know it doesn't seem like a lot with a penny stock, but this is not necessarily a penny stock. This trades in the 30s right now.
Omex might also be going back for $2 there, not taking it.
Omex,
real quick,
Ampy and MLGO, they're all trying to come back up. CJON also going here. This might take out the high.
Yep, I'm not in CGON here. CGON. By the way, Hans here saying waiting for Tesla 300. Hans, what are you waiting for? Is that a potential short? What are you selling there? What when you say you're waiting, what are you waiting for there? What are you going to do with that? Here's going back to CGON here. Also, NVIDIA here down 2% here today, although it is coming up off the lows. Remember, we had that story about the chip challenges.
There's some interesting headline coming out of, and this is what a BZ exclusive about the Pakistan defense minister saying that there's a military incursion by India that's imminent. It's not necessarily the news you want to see, but apparently India is going to be the first trade deal signed.
So this is hot news, which is why it's shaded red, not just.
Gotcha. Okay.
But
oh, look, I think GLMD is trying to go here, or at least trying to curl back up. So we'll see what we get out of that one. PRTG coming back off of its 200 EMA, trying to recapture the 65. Oops.
Yeah, and Brett, good call there. VIX did break under 25 right there.
There's
24
Ampy.
And change now on the VIX. Sorry, 13?
Ampy was going and testing that high again. Looks like these are starting to bubble. I am very concerned about OMAX at this stage. That concentration of sellers just keeps growing. Maybe there's a whale that comes in and just takes it out with a large splash, but I'm a little concerned about that right there. All right. Well, market seems to be ripping right now.
Wis, you're asking for a float here on STSS, that's Sharps Technology. I've got a float here, 5.4 million on that stock. 5.4 million. Sabre here. This is one we've traded before. SABR. This is up 27% here. What's the news for Sabre? Definitive agreement to sell its hospitality solutions business to TPG for 1.1 bill. Okay.
Bolsonaro wants C3 AI. It's ticker AI. Doesn't look like there's a whole lot of volume today. Looks like GLMD is trying to get going here, or at least trying to recapture some levels. That'd be nice.
AI, though, fairly interesting daily chart here as we are above this very, very clear $20 support level, maybe kind of a janky inverse head and shoulders, but agree with you, 13. Not a whole lot of outstanding volume here today.
Consistency with the post about United Health being a top 25 dividend giant. Don't disagree with that. I had United Health for a while because it was a good dividend play, but that was before the CEO murder and all that.
Robert saying app's still looking good. Robert, are you looking for app to make a move like to the highs here?
AVGO getting mentioned. I just missed Alston is saying it's AVGO is hitting. Let me see here.
AVGO, watch Friday's intraday high there, 193 and some change.
Yeah, I want to see 200 get taken out in AVGO.
By the way, Omex here kind of reversed. Now, what's interesting here is that $2 level has really come into play. We actually tested it again, did not have the strength to get through it this time. Now we're pulling back here. You really want this to hold 176 here, that VWAP. It pulled to it and bounced, but we want to hold this here for more than just 1 5-minute window. If we do, then maybe we can reattack 2. Otherwise, this might be done. Good stuff. Good on you, 13, for not going back to the well on this one.
Yeah, I was pointing out the concentration of sellers. If you look at your price ladder, you can see that looks like we're going to go and try and hit that level at 193 right now. But there's that concentration of sellers right there that's preventing the price from going up. If a whale comes in, like I was saying earlier, and takes out that seller at 193, this could go back up to 2 and even higher. They're hitting it right now, actually.
Yep, and that's a huge seller. Wow, you're not kidding about that.
No.
And it's real too because they took a chunk. I saw prints. Here we go again. More prints.
Yeah.
NAAS, by the way, NAS Technology moving on no news. This is actually open and going higher. There goes 193 on Omex. Maybe 2 is on deck now. Jay, I'm trying to get to your grail too here. Again, as a reiteration, not in Omex on this second move here.
This market really ripping.
Tesla, more new highs. Goldman Sachs highs. Apple, new highs. PanW, new highs. Bitcoin actually rolled over a little bit here from its highs earlier this morning. Okay, Omex seems to be kind of settling there. And actually, you know what? One of the things we want to watch here, we want to see if this does, in fact, settle. We don't want to continue to make lower highs or this thing might be kicked. Let's take a look here at Graal. This is one, Jay. I know that first trade was amazing. You did end up buying this. $30 looks to be the pretty good spot to turn this around. You got a target on this, Jay? Or are you just trimming on the way up? What do I think of Amazon with their launch of internet satellites? I don't have any new thoughts on whatever satellites they launched. Last thing I remember them launching is Katy Perry and a bunch of her merrymaker friends into space. But nonetheless here, what do I like or what do I think of Amazon? I think this is an ideal long-term stock. I've been an Amazon Prime member since 2009. Love the company, love the stock. This is definitely one that you should add on dips.
Yeah, Amazon's trying to launch satellite clusters like SpaceX's for their Starlink. They also have a EV called the Slate. that's supposed to be coming out. It's able to be transformed between a SUV and a light truck. And it's supposed to go
that
for
I
about
don't like, by the way.
It's supposed to go for about $20,000.
Okay.
It's getting a lot of buzz. Just saying.
I mean, EVs not a huge demand. An SUV that morphs into a truck.
Omex just popped up to 2.
Did we actually get 2 prints there? I took my eyes off of it.
Yes.
There we go. Okay, this might.
Trying to take it out.
Well, I tell you what, this came all the way back into VWAP and went higher. Unreal. 203 is your intraday high. So I guess technically it hasn't gone higher yet. I might have early called that.
Yeah, we'll have to see if it takes it out there.
Here it comes. Bang. There's a new high. Here's a bigger pop. 208. More size up there. Really good stuff, folks. More register rings for the chat here.
And let's see. Where are the next levels? Next level should be 230. That's going to be the lows from back in 22, June and September lows of 22. That's going to be about 230. And then after that, you have, looks like it could be about 280 to 285 would be the next level after that.
Kathy, back on UPXI. There's a blast from last week. Is that kicking up here again? Little bit of a volume pop there. UPXI 21 going to be a level to look at.
And so far, Omex really the best looking one of the day. Bitcoin seems to be really tanking. So wait, let me get this straight. The market's ripping, but Bitcoin's tanking. Is
correct? And remember, the last time the market was tanking, Bitcoin was ripping. It almost looks like it's inverse now. Yeah. I don't want to make that assumption though.
But it's interesting because we've previously observed Bitcoin being the risk on that indicator that has caused the market to rally. So now this is a complete departure from that. Just pointing something out that I've noticed. If you looked at Bitcoin like last year, when we were looking at Bitcoin and it was running, so was the market. Where it's like, yeah, that's risk on. Market's risk on. Markets, Bitcoin's saying it's risk off right now, but the market's like, yeah, you know what? Forget that. We're going higher. So is and AMPI's trying to go higher as well. LMAX did come back in after hitting 209. Going to test VWAP. PRTG, this doesn't look like it's going to do a whole lot today. If it loses the 200 EMA, I think this comes back down to probably about 875.
Nasty move there, PRTG. Pretty much retracing the entire thing.
Yes, sir. OMEX also pulling a little bit, but still has VWAP in the way of this downside, so they could find support there. Like we're getting a little tired here in the market. Great moves this morning, though, especially with OMEX. Great job, everybody that caught that. It was fantastic. Looks like the TQQQ might be setting up for another move higher if it gets VWAP to hold. Let's see here. That doesn't look good.
Okay, sorry about that.
No worries.
Saber might be going through 280 there. Mullen is appearing on the list. Say it ain't so. Nobody give up money to Mullen today, please. We want to have a good Monday. Summit here. What did this pull back on Friday on? Does anyone know?
Let me look and take a look. I'm not trading anything right now, so let's see what I found.
This was a huge move down on Friday.
Yeah.
Interim overall survival analysis requested from Chinese health authorities shows a critically meaningful positive trend. Summit plunges here. Oh, it looks like
it's a stat. It's from a stat report.
Yeah, it's this. So XIII wins Chinese approval for cancer drugs. So the thought here was that Summit wasn't going to win that, but then we got a PR later about this being good still. Looks like there are shenanigans being played with this one. So the stat report said one of its drugs here, this Ivoneskimab or whatever, misses the expectations.
Let's take a look here and see what Summit Therapeutics pipeline is saying.
BMO says Keytruda still reigns even after that data. Interesting here. So Summit, this actually might be a potential kind of bounce back and close this gap down.
It's really interesting to have such a move like that.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, really can't speak to anything other than that's what the news is telling us. I have to dig deeper to find out exactly why it took such a hit, but yeah, it was on that news you were mentioning. Anyway, back to what we're trading.
Yeah, I'm just kind of looking around here, see if I find anything new. Looks like some of these initial moves have kind of reversed a little bit or turned down. I don't want to say reversed.
Yeah, I don't have any positions right now.
Neither do I. Don't have any new ones. Yeah.
Just kind of waiting to see what is that. What are you doing, chat? What are you doing? An NMAX run today, says Crow.
What's that? Really? Why on earth would that happen?
He's talking to Mike. I'm just seeing this comment in passing.
You are getting NMAX to turn up here a little bit. So Robert here, thank you. Appreciate you, Robert. Summit had false result news. It was corrected after the market. I bought Summit calls. I was already in, so I added to that position and bought more. The bad number was a misprint. Interesting, Robert. Appreciate that.
So let me get this straight, Robert. You know enough about this company to know that was a mistake, and you capitalized on that mistake. You bought calls or bought. You said you bought calls. So you bought calls when that drop happened because you thought this is incorrect. Because that's great.
Yeah, that's really awesome if that's the case. And if that's the case too, I sure think that those May 30s might be juicy here. They're spread 50 cents right now, and they're up 50% here today. But man, oh man, that actually might be decent.
Bharat is shorting Meta. Take that thing down to zero, buddy. Get rid of Meta. Take it down. Okay, well, this thing has had some volatile price action this morning. It's interesting. It still has not death crossed yet.
Yeah, Weth, watching for volume, has news. China company trade small. Indeed, trade that one small. Be careful with that one. I do see the news here, but let me tell you something, man. I'm sorry. A company that has 100 million in cash or whatever it is on the balance sheet, for it to trade down the way it did on positive news, something's wrong here. Something stinks with this company. I don't know what it is. I took a loss on this, just moved on. Be careful with this one. Something stinks here. Jay saying, in my opinion, it'd be better if we pulled back or went sideways for a while. That was a massive move last week. I agree. I don't want to see just kind of a snap back down to the lows.
In which one? Or just the broader market?
What? Jay's comment here is the broader market.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That'd be nice just to kind of, establish some footing because the market's been just too volatile to really get a good solid understanding of where things are holding up at or not. Man, let's look at the past. Look at this month. Let's look at this month. This all the price action we've had this month alone. I
mean, look at the SPY here today. Like, we drifted up in the pre-market. We popped hard right out of the open. We came all the way back in. Pete here saying things look overbought. I'm sitting today out. Pete, we'll be around tomorrow if you're heading out for the day.
Yeah, look, wow, what a reversal in the SQQQ as well. I didn't really get that far away. Let's see. Only got about 35, 36 cents away from VWAP before it reversed. And it looks like it's trying to get up to 32.
Indeed. Market is pulling a little bit here. Tesla really reversing more than the market. This coming all the way back down to the pre-market level, pretty much a racing 5-point move down there.
Let's see, what were the highs? 294.86. So not quite the 300 I was looking for. Did get back up, did get up to that 200 EMA. I'm sorry, SMA. When it printed a little bit higher, and now we're coming back in. Looks like support could be at about 285. So we're coming down to it pretty quick here. Going to want to see that hold up, or else we're going lower, which I would think could be mid to low 270s.
Ryan, take care of yourself.
Take care, Ryan.
Steve says, I've been safeguarding capital today. I've been eyeing some puts in the SPY, but I haven't pulled the trigger yet. Steve, I too haven't taken any new trade on the direction of the market. I'm kind of waiting that out. I'm not going to do that here early in the morning.
Here we go with SQQQ putting in new highs for the day.
You know what? That SQQQ move, Netflix is the worst right now. Netflix went higher and not only completely reversed, is now going way lower. Netflix 35-point peak to trough move here.
Yeah, but it's like $1,000 stock, so $30 is I don't look at it as too huge of a move. It's significant, sure, but it's just we're talking $1,000 stock here.
Yeah.
And if you look at the smaller time, or actually the daily, that was indicating that Netflix was overbought. The RSI on all late last week was saying it was over 70. Cash in some PLTR. Great job, Quantum. They're talking about GLMD as well. That one heading lower. Crow was talking about GLMD, saying Benji was in it.
That's Benjamin Yo, I believe he's referring to.
CJON is still going sideways. Been doing that all morning. MLGO just hit the 65 EMA. Let's see if it gets support there. AMPY also doing the same. OMEX, it's losing my VWAP, but this is going to be the third red candle ever since we had that green pop all the way through 2 again. So let's see if this current red candle that it's in takes us down to about 180 where it finds support. If we find support at 180, that'd be a good sign for OMEX.
30 is peanuts. You guys, 30-point move is something that is tradable, right? I'm like,
sure, you're right.
An option contract, even if the stock's $1,000, if the stock's moving $30, that's notable.
Look at this SQQQ now. This thing is just, oh man, maybe 32.50 where the SQQ goes on this move. I don't know.
Okay, I wasn't in any. My goodness, Ryan, I wasn't in any of those marketplace.
Robert is still in Huntington Ingalls. That's interesting. That's HII. You're still looking at the because of the whole shipbuilding angle. Us wanting to start producing our own and move away from Chinese made. Probably a really good long-term hold, to be honest. Probably one of the best.
Would you short Eli Lilly on the downgrade? I would not short Eli Lilly. No, I don't. If anything, I'd buy Lilly puts, but no, that's not something I'm looking to do personally. Happy to listen to any other thought on that, though.
Steve is doing opening puts on the SPY. He's locking in profit.
This move down looks to be kind of slowing down, especially if you take a look at NASDAQ. That's actually starting to put in a bottom wick of a candle. Tesla might be turning around a little bit here. Netflix also might be finding some footing.
Robert's saying that what I was talking about Huntington Ingalls is right on. Great job with your trade. I don't know how long maybe it's an investment. I don't know how long you plan on holding it.
Graph is asking, where's a good place to find out if the company reports AM or PM? That's the easiest question we've got here today. That's going to be Benzinga Pro.
OMAX with a big drop. So
the earnings calendar here will tell you if it's morning or night. Sorry, 13. Then to finish that off.
OMAX with a big drop, lost 180, coming down to the next area of support down at 165. After that, then you have the 65 EMA, which is at 151.
Glad I didn't go back to the well on that one.
Hey, for me, it was all about that hitting that trend line and being done. We just needed to, that was the whole trade. That's all we were focused on. And it was fantastic. And I'm glad that everybody that hit it made money.
Wisdom, good morning. Great to see you here today. RNGR, what is this? Ranger Energy Services. Not familiar with this one. Provider of onshore high specification well service rigs. Okay, so this is like onshore drilling, offshore drilling. I don't follow this company, Wisdom. I'm sorry. I guess we could take a look at the chart for you.
Robert has calls for $200 strike expiring on the 16th. So next month. That's great. He's doing great. Because the price is at Huntington Ingalls, because it's up almost.
Oh, that's right.
It's 230 almost. So he's already got a $30 premium on each share. Well done. All right, market trying to bounce, it looks like.
Wisdom, I'm sorry, man. I got nothing for you on Ranger. They do report here in a little bit, but this is not a stock that I've ever really looked into. Does look like it's kind of at a previous consolidation level. I don't see much else in there, though.
Imminent death cross coming on RNGR.
There you go.
Excuse me. Real quick for RNGR though, 1370. That looks like a really interesting spot. It's been both support and resistance. So if you do see upside coming on this, 1370 might be a resistance area to watch for. To the downside, I mean, we're talking under 11, into the 10 handle. You can also take a look at that 20-day SMA. That's been keeping the price down ever since it lost it back on February 26th. So it looks like it could still go lower, especially with that death cross being imminent. But once you start closing above the 20-day SMA, I think you're going to have a price recovery taking effect.
Brett, take care of yourself, man. Have a great day. Also, by the way, here's VIX here did pop up off the lows. Although it really kind of stopped. Maybe the market is trying to put in a bounce here. SPY looks like it's trying to do that.
It certainly does look like it's trying to bounce. OMEX now down to that 165 level. Looking like, man, we did so well on this one. This is my whole day right here. That everybody jumped in and we did exactly what we wanted this to do, and it made money, and everybody's out. It's perfect. Love to see that. Love to see when the trade works out for everybody. BBAI is trying to recapture its VWAP. Oh, okay. Thank you. I have that level. Let me see what you're referring to here, because okay.
He's referring to a test of that level. If I'm whether or not we can hold it here. Let me bring it up because I also have those levels marked off. Right? Do we close above or at this level? To me, is the
so for my 10% correction level is 551.91. So we just lost that today after because we opened, went up to it, went beyond it, and now we're coming back in. So now that we've lost it, I think the level that I'm going to be paying attention to would be 550 as support. What do you think, Steve? You think 550 is going to be in play here today? Looks like it's certainly going to be heading there in a bit.
I mean, I think we might actually recapture 552 here today. Still, it's still early.
Well, I'm saying 550 as support. I'm looking to see if that's what we're going to end up getting here, because we're headed towards that handle right now. PRTG is trying to turn around. It recaptured its VWAP a second ago, and then it lost it. It's still trading slightly above VWAP. MLGO is losing its 65 EMA, maybe. Has not.
Eat it with a possible triple top break. Remember, this had an upgrade today from Wainwright, plus 10% on this move here on ticker EDIT.
AMPI is looking kind of interesting. This one might make another move up to 330, maybe higher. It hasn't had the greatest time this morning trying to get back over VWAP, but it's starting to move now. Let's see what happens with this one.
Chipotle is trying to take out its trend line that it used as support and broke. This is now resistance, but it's trying to take that here today. Plug is the Mullen of clean energy. J. Rice, facts. Lion, don't hold your breath, bro. There is 0% chance of that happening. 0.00% chance of that happening.
Now, she will sooner get replaced than that happening.
Exactly. That is no way. Let's see, what else do we have on the scanner? I'm seeing some interesting names here on the scanner. I'm not sure what to make of them yet, though.
Like what names?
To me, on. I mean, I know retail's been kind of hit here, but ON, the on holdings. This actually had a pretty interesting spot. And I'm surprised.
I mean, let's see here. On took a 45% hit from the highs.
Yeah.
So some of these apparel companies are probably looking really, really attractive right now because of their valuations getting hammered.
This is actually a good question. Neil here. So Neil, I'm going to take this here. 13. I definitely want your opinion on this as well. Neil here is asking, what made you so sure of Omex, Omex bounce at the open? It was just from the 20 EMA or watching the tape. Okay, couple of things here. So number one, I was not sure of anything. And when it comes to these smaller names, I'm never really sure of them. I'm basically playing what I think is going to happen here. And I would not make an argument that Omex bounced either. What made me look at this is we had a nice move on volume, and it really kind of held this bull flag in there. It also, if you notice, what stayed above the VWAP pretty much the entire thing into the open. And when we started to take off here on high volume, I was actually a little late into this. I hit this close to 180. I probably could have been a little bit better. It also, if you notice right in here, 177, or if you're going to look at the body of the candle, 174, it also took this pre-market high out right away. That told me it had some more juice left in it. I have no idea where the top is, so I sold multiple times into the move higher and then didn't reload when it came back in. Let me know if that answers your question.
Yeah, for me, we were just looking at that trend line that we identified that started back from Thursday and ran through the pre-market for Friday, ran through some of the levels from Friday, and we just extended that trend line up into today because the price was already starting to make its way up there. So the thought was that, okay, that's going to be a resistance area, because if you've seen what the price action from those past 2 days, Friday and Thursday, this trend line has been a pretty solid resistance trend line. But we were starting to trade up in the morning after finding a base around 120. And we took out some of the price action on Friday. But it wasn't until we started getting support from the highs from an area from the highs from Friday, just before we opened, that it looked like we were going to make another move through 180. So those are all things that we talked about this morning in the pre-market. Is we were talking about the 180 level, the $2 level, this trend line, and how all these things could fit together to make it so that $2 was about where we'd want to be out at, and it worked. And Ryan was, taking profit on the way up. Some people were out around 2. Some people were out on the way up to 2. I certainly was. It's one that worked out based on some things that we had observed. And once we were done with it, then we were just like, fine, that was the whole trade that we had set up to do. It doesn't matter what happens next, because everything that we had planned worked out. There's don't get greedy or anything like that. We executed our plan. We made money, and that was that. And we're looking at other stuff now. And now Omex is testing some of these previous levels that we started to hold up at in the pre-market, and it looks like it could lose them. So that trade's over for us.
Yeah,
we did great.
Good question, though. Let me know if that answers your question.
Yep. Sorry for all the words I threw out there. But
sorry for all the words. Smoke Tuna saying, when you don't see 100% runners in small caps, I think it's a sign of a weak market for small caps. Do you ever look at the IWM? Do you ever make judgments based on what the IWM is doing? I guess that might also be impacted if there were 100% movers here. The IWM chart doesn't look terrible here today. I know it's only up by about 0.5%, but it doesn't look bad.
No, we've talked about some of the
things. It certainly doesn't look overbought either. Sorry, 13.
We were talking this morning about some of the things we like seeing with the IWM, like the fact that it's been, closing over its 20-day SMA. That's, part of the recovery that we want to see. Now it's coming up to a resistance area at 196. That's been resistance for a lot of times it's been up here. we get past that, we're going to be looking at the next area. So it's on a recovery, but at any point, one of these resistance areas we're looking at could provide some resistance, and we have to be ready for that. So we're not going to be over leveraged up at these levels where it could turn around. We're just going to trade accordingly. We're going to lighten our positions when it gets too extended, and we're going to load back up when it weakens again.
Dollar General here, weak
Ooh.
here today. Dollar General really pulling back. Also seeing some put flow into this name. Remind me of the level that you had for Dollar General, your ad spot here on Dollar General. Looks like we actually made a pretty decent double top here at 97. But I'm interested. I still think, let's call it medium term here. We probably make a run through 100 here. So I'm interested in maybe loading this up again. What level did you have for this 13? Can you remind me?
Oh, I don't think I had an ad level. I'm in where I want to be with this.
Okay.
But this comes,
what
under,
level are you in at then? What's a good level?
Well, if it goes under 80, I'll add more.
Okay, so under 80. Okay,
yeah.
That's fine.
Here, I'll tell you what my cost is, so you can understand why I'm not looking to add. I added when it was already above my cost, because it came back in March pretty significantly, and that's when I added some more. And then since this run has been going on, I haven't done any more buying. My cost on this is $76.98.
Okay, really good stuff there. And shout out to you for you're in stock, right? Because I actually traded this with options. I had limited timetable before I needed to get out.
Long hold for me.
Long-term hold. Good stuff. Robert here saying DG was a great money maker for me. Boom. Lion saying 85 might be a decent ad spot.
Yep.
I could see that here. Yep. I could see that.
Because that was the breakout spot for me on this. We had talked about 85 before. It was a level that has previous price action, been resistance before. It was resistance in December, also resistance again in March. And that's where it came back in to where I bought it again. And then ever since we came back up to 85, that was a breakout that has become support ever since then. You already got one test of support on April 9th. So if it does come back down to 85, I would be absolutely looking at 85 as a support area, but I won't be adding there.
Yeah, Neil says, yeah, that does help. Good. Neil, we look at setups like that regularly, pretty much every day. So when we're going over them, if you see something that kind of reminds you of that, holla, we'd be happy to kind of break that down and look into it in the moment if we can. Remember, though, even on days where we make good trades, please remember that nothing is 100% here. Nobody knows the future. I mean, look, here's the thing, real quick. I even tried. I went above and beyond to try and learn the future. I did fortune tellers for a little bit. That didn't work. I also bought one of these, an 8-ball, to try and predict the future there. You can see it's actually a little bit dusty there because it hasn't really been working. So even some of the tools that I pay to predict the future end up not working. We never know what the future is going to bring, but we do try and take advantage of movement that we see. So happy to explain that. We're never sure. We're just different degrees of confident, I would say. And then Jay here, sorry, 13. Jay had a really good comment that I wanted to highlight to the group here. Last week, it was all growth and Q, so growth and tech here. Transports lagged big, so rotation this week wouldn't be a bad thing. Jay, let me ask you as a follow-up question here. What would some of your favorite targets be if that rotation holds? Steve, let's try this. You know what? Let's try this. It's been a while. Maybe we can get the 8-ball back on the wagon here. Was it off the wagon? I can never remember. Anyway, Steve here, can you ask the 8-ball if the SPY will resolve lower today? I will ask it that right now. 13, is there anything that you want me to put on the screen while I'm doing this?
Just that's whatever you want to do.
Okay, Saber here. Saber might be going through its VWAP here. So, okay, Steve, here we go. We're going to do it. Will the SPY resolve lower today? Michael saying the 8-ball is probably better than Jim Cramer. Michael, write this down. Let's track that. That's a great idea. Steve, you asked if the SPY is going to resolve lower today. Well, Lion Atlas is going to be dancing on his seat because it says most likely. 8-ball telling us we resolve lower. We get a rug pull. There you go. We'll see if that ends up materializing. The 8-ball is bearish today. If you can control the future, you can predict it. That's true, Robert. Also very deep and insightful. I like that.
Looks like a lot of stuff is kind of going sideways right now, but I do see some that are possibly in the process of beginning their recovery. MLGO looks like that could be trying to turn around here. It's been holding above its 65 EMA ever since it got down here about 15, 20 minutes ago. Just looking around for some good trades here. Not seeing anything. What's the volume like right now?
Opening 8-ball put. Steve, let's go. Just be sure to blame the 8-ball and not me if it doesn't work. I guess you could blame Lion.
Not very likely. God, it sounds like me, doesn't it?
Oh, you folks are great.
It's almost been, we're about another 12 minutes into trading, and we'll have a full hour booked on the day. We have not even reached 10 million shares traded in the SPY yet. Just a snoozer of a morning so far.
I'm still doing all right though.
Yeah, we had a good trade.
Yeah. Well, I had the trade, but here's the other thing. So one of the other things, so I actually didn't get filled on this trade. I actually I think this was before you got on here, 13. I reiterated again, I do think that Boeing actually might make a nice move up to 200. Will it get through 200? I'm not too sure. Was kind of looking at the June 200 calls there. They really kind of ran away. They're up 50% here today. They're up $1.13. The ask here is $3.50. I was hoping to add these lower 225, 250-ish. Didn't get any of that, of course, here today on Boeing. But so I'm actually not in this. I do want to be in this. I tell you what, if we pull back at all on this tomorrow, I'll probably add that short-term swing here.
It's done a whole lot of nothing this morning. Got a doji on the chart right now. We'll see what ends up happening. I can't really speak on what I think is going to happen with Boeing at the moment. It does have an interesting trend line that it's trading above right now, so we'll see if anything comes out of that. And if I'm only talking on like the daily chart,
this is what I believe. This is the trend line that you're talking about.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, my thought here, 13, is that we've really done a good job kind of confirming this as a bottom. And now we're moving above the trend line. So I can see that we've made a huge run since, what is this, April 7th. April 7th, the stock was $130. Today here, April 28th, stock's $183. So it's made a pretty decent move. But I'm thinking if we hold above this trend line, it's going to set its sights on the 500 and then maybe 200 next. Just kind of as I zoom out here, it just kind of looks like this wants to try and go higher. To your point, though, you're right. And maybe it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't.
I don't want to,
no, it's okay. Go ahead, destroy it.
I don't want to flatly suggest that it's going to get rejected here.
And impolitely suggest that.
I'm just not sure about what it's going to do right now, given that there's been very, very little price action and very little volume in this one so far. So I'm just going to kind of wait and see. But I don't disagree. It could go to 200 if we hold up here above this trend line. But that 500-day SMA has to deal with first. And still not seeing anything I'm really interested in taking a trade on. Looks like the market kind of fell asleep a little bit here.
Yeah, it sure does. But that's okay. That's okay. Let me go back to the main workspace here real quick.
I like how some folks are still on the 8-ball.
Look, I feel like the 8-ball and the Rubik's Cube are two of just like those old classic toys. They'll never really go anywhere.
A blast from the past. Oh, what's going on with Pony AI this morning?
DJF, 8-ball is not magic. Yeah, dude, that's the whole joke. What's next? The psychic? No, that was first. Miss Cleo, we talked about that. We talked about Miss Cleo, who's not making it. We're doing all right, though. It's great to see you. Thanks for popping by here. You're doing all right.
Have you looked at Pony AI this morning?
Yes, did look at it a little bit. Didn't focus on it. Obviously, didn't line up any type of trade. This was one from last week, too. Smoke Tuna with an amazing call on this last week. Smoke Tuna wasn't the buy yesterday on Monday?
Today's Monday.
No, but we traded this last week. And I know it popped on Wednesday. He said last week, I believe, that the buy day was a specific day, and I'm trying to remember I can't really. Here we go though with Pony. This is actually right back to the area in the after hours session, the extended sessions, I should say, that it consolidated at.
And if we get through that, I think it might even go to 980. It might need some sideways price action a little bit, but it looks like it's on the trajectory to get back up to 980 like today. We'll see if that ends up happening. No position in it, but it just certainly looks like it wants to go back up there.
What are the applications of this AI, artificial intelligence, engaged in the operation and development of autonomous vehicles? Right. So, was there a specific company tied to this? I'm struggling to keep it all straight. Tencent announced strategic partnership. Maybe that's what I was thinking of. Yep. Tencent Cloud and Smart Industries. Okay. To me, I don't think that might not be going anywhere. Like, I don't know. I actually think that might be pretty decent.
New announcement this morning. No, I think it's just kind of moving along with some of the other names. There's also a headline here saying it rallies after positive reactions to the company's Shanghai auto reveals.
Yeah, and then also remember just the range from Friday that this thing carved out. Right, we're pretty much just moving 50% in between that range.
We're seeing other EVs move up this morning. Of course, NIO. So I think there's also a relative play. I'm sorry, a relationship play in there. Tesla Vietnamese rival VinFast sees EV delivery surge 296% in Q1. That's VNF, right? No, what is it? What is VinFast? Help me out here, folks. I'm trying to remember what it is.
VFS?
Is it VFS?
VinFast Auto.
That's it. Yep. Just wanted to see what that was doing this morning. It looks like we did get some movement, but not the kind of movement I would expect on a headline like that. You know what I'm saying? That's some pretty good figures there. They also got a buy rating. The price target. U levels, if you can, please. Let's take a look at Unity software. Well, that 500-day SMA is going to be one area that sticks out like a sore thumb. The last two visits we've had up to there were rejected both times.
Eric here is asking, do you exclusively use Benzinga Pro for your scanner, or do you have any others? Yes, the only scanner that I really have set up is in Benzinga Pro. It is worth noting that I do have a scanner in Thinkorswim, but I don't often use it because the one that I use more reliably is the Pro scanner. What I'm generally using this for is intraday short-term trades, and I'm using relative volume to capture that. The Benzinga Pro scanner has the relative volume filter that I'm looking for, the intraday one. Sorry, did you need me to go to something, put something on screen here?
I'm just looking at Unity software right now. To me, it looks like 2475 could be another resistance area. That'd be one of the next ones I'd be watching for. If you look to the left, back in 2023, that was a pretty big area of resistance. So that level and the 500-day SMA are the two big areas of resistance that I see for Unity software. Let me see if I can identify any trends for you. Might be one right here.
Wisdom here. Sorry, 1 second. I'll get you back in here. 8-Ball was good on my end. Have an amazing, beautiful abundance. Love y'all. Time to fish. Enjoy the fish. Hope you catch them. Smash up the like for the stream and for my man Wisdom here, who's going fishing. That sounds awesome. Let me know what you catch, Wisdom, and smash up the like for 13. Breaking this down like a fraction for you.
So Unity software. If you go to a daily chart,
let me get my bigger one so it's easier to see.
And in Unity software, we had this massive drop in 22 that started in April and finally bottomed in May. And ever since we had that drop, we've been kind of down here at these prices. Systematically going lower, but every time that we've had a pop, it's created an area where you can draw a trend line with. So I would start with the August high, draw it through the July 2023 high and the December 2023 high, and you'll find that if you extend that further, it goes right through the February 2025 high, and that is the trend line I'd be watching to break over.
There you go.
It could provide, So it could provide resistance on the next visit up here. But this is also going to be the indicator I would be using if we start closing over it. That would be telling me that this is recovering. So there you have it. Those levels I gave you earlier. That what was it, like a 2480 or 2470, I believe. The 500-day SMA, and then this trend line. Those are the next 3 upside resistance areas I'd be watching for.
Okay, good stuff there. Unity, ticker U. Barat asking, Ryan, how do you see unusual call flow through option? Is that through Benzinga as well? Yes, it is. Benzinga Pro has its own unusual option activity scanner. I use the calendar, which allows you to filter. And then the filter that I apply here is actually pretty simple. I'm looking for more than 100 contracts per trade. This helps me determine option flow a little bit easier. So yes, good question there, Barat. All of that stuff comes in Benzinga Pro. And by the way, if y'all need help with that, James is the man. I'm going to get you his contact information here in case anyone is interested.
That was a really nice move in Bitcoin. Just had a double. Let's see. Let me go to Bitcoin charts. I'm looking at IBIT right now.
Here, I can put IBIT on screen, no problem.
But well, either way, I mean, they're basically the same thing. It's just one's an ETF. But Bitcoin had a double top this morning, and that took it down to just under 94,000. It's since recovered, but we're kind of back up to this consolidation area that we got before we had this drop and pop that took us to the double top that we got this morning.
Yep.
I'm thinking that if we do not recapture this consolidation area, then we're going to be going down to 93,500. That should be the next thing to be watching for with Bitcoin, is if we cannot recapture this this range here in the high 90, like basically 94,750 to 95,000. If we cannot get back above that area, I think we go down to test 93.5. Robert Howland, that wolf is still going. He's been telling us all morning. We haven't looked at it really. I'm going to look at it now. That's
wolf speed. Yeah, we did look at it once. Here, I'll put this on screen. 13 BRB, 1 sec.
Sure. So let's see here. Man, this thing's been having some pretty wild moves this morning. So 9 o'clock, this thing starts ripping just before and then we open and we kind of go back down to 360, and then it rips to almost 420. Kind of been oscillating back and forth now, but we're trying to take out that high it just put in at 940, around the 945 area, which is 414. What are we looking at here for if this breaks out, Robert? What's the upside target here on a break over 415? Are we looking to go to, what is this, about 450, 455, or the 50-day SMA is? Or are we looking for 5? Tell me what we're looking for here in Wolf. That's WOLF. Google is down. Let's see how much down it is. What is it? 160. Oh, that's fine. I mean, we came up to the 50-day SMA, got rejected. We're not down anywhere near where I was buying. This still looks like it's in a bit of a W-shaped recovery. This is an interesting area, though. We do need to find some support here around 160, maybe like 159.5, 160, possibly slightly lower than that. I don't know how low, but it's, it had a nice rally ever since last Monday. Wouldn't mind a little bit of cooling off before it tries to break through that 50-day SMA on its way to 200. So that's fine. We're looking at Google right now.
Okay, let me go back to my bigger chart here. We'll go to Goog.
And okay, so Robert, you're looking for 5.5 in Wolf. Thank you for that. Jonathan Cooper mentioning Dallas Fed manufacturing, which that print looks way worse than what it was expected or what the prior read was. But as far as Google goes, yeah, that's fine if Google wants to cool off a little bit, because that was a nice recovery rally that it had last week. I'm fine with it.
For unusual option activity, just look at my option trades, Webcoin. Oh, that's good. Can we get a like or two from some of the jokes that are pretty awesome from even the group here?
That's great. Also,
Oh,
keep in mind, folks, it is now past 10:30. This is about the time where we have observed volume leaving the market, people getting up from their desks. They're going to go talk about all the great trades they did in Omex and do it over some mimosas, probably. So, going to be a little bit slow here until we get past that lunch hour. What?
eh, people are going to go talk about trading Omex and have mimosas. I mean, that sounds like a hell of a morning there. That's something else.
I'm trying to paint a whole picture here about what happens at 10:30. You know.
Yeah, I know. It's just funny. It was a funny way of doing that. And you know what? Here, Alston is asking about MSTR. Shame on me. Someone else, maybe it was you, asked about this in the pre-market. We basically ran out of time here. Still waiting for Jay Diamond. Really want to ask him his thoughts here on Bitcoin and MicroStrategy and what's going on here. Hopefully he's out there. Hopefully he's not expired. Anyway, MicroStrategy here. Here's the thing that I'm really kind of looking at this chart. This double bottom, I'm hesitant to call it a triple bottom, but I suppose if you want to, you can.
Nah.
This also bounced off of the 200-day here. We're basically just in this kind of back and forth area. And I know aside from the head and shoulders here, this has kind of been an area since the end of last year. 383.40, which was a primo support that we identified, now a big time resistance. This thing has to fall before we really start to print some new highs here. This is one of the levels that I'm watching, 383.40. No position here on MicroStrategy. I want to see what happens when this gets ripping. Do you have anything here on MSTR?
I certainly do. So I have a trend line that I've got here. You can start it at the December highs, like on the 5th and 16th. Just start there, make a trend line, keep going all the way through the January high and the March high, and you'll see that we just broke over this trend line last week. So that's number one. The double bottom you're talking about, that's number two. The 200-day SMA, where we had multiple tests down there, that's number three. Go to a weekly chart. Bounce off the 50-week SMA. That's number four. There's so many good technical indicators that are that are showing that this is in recovery mode. The next area that I'm looking for a move over that's going to that's been a big resistance area is 385.75. I believe that is from the low. I'm sorry, no, it's from the high of November 13th. Looks like it. No, hold on. Looks like it was actually 383.40. So I'm not exactly sure where I got 385.75, but I've got that level marked off. It's worked out pretty well for me. I want to start seeing some closes over that. We already got this break over the trend line, so it looks, for me, for now, MSTR looks bullish. Just keep in mind that the RSI on the daily chart is starting to get elevated, and it wouldn't be too far beyond 400 where I think that we could see this get into overbought territory.
Okay.
So
okay,
that's what I got with MSTR. It's looking pretty good right now.
Good breakdown. Like it. Like it. All right, let me go back to the main workspace here and see what's going on. Crow mentioning that GLMD might be curling here. Maybe we really want to see it get above this 15 EMA on the 5. I've got that value at 232. That looks to be the spot here.
I think I see what he's talking about. Look at the MACD. That's starting to curl up. If we start to get crossing in that, then that's also going to coincide with the recapture of the VWAP. Those two things is what I'd be looking for. Get above that VWAP. No. Have them MACD cross. I think we're looking good there. RSI on the 5-minute time frame is under 50, so this thing could go on for to the upside for a little bit. Also, a bit of a downtrend here that we could be breaking. Kind of moved over the trend line sideways. Need to see the volume really pick up here. Get above that VWAP. This thing might start trading better.
I think this is the trend line that you were. I basically just eyeballed it there.
Yeah. Not so much a really big break over it, so volume isn't really coming into.
It just stopped. Yeah, it stopped going down and kind of traded sideways through it.
Yeah, I want to see an expansion of volume that takes us over VWAP. That might be your indicator that this thing's trying to go higher.
Mimosas are good as long as they're straight bourbon.
However
Well,
you want to take your
Buffalo
mimosa.
by Bicycle likes to go hard. Wolf, by the way, this did break those initial highs there off that
Excellent.
impulse move. So Wolf still looks like it's got some more strength.
And Robert's looking for 5.5 on that one. He's got about a buck, a buck 28 right away from here. Next big resistance area to get over is going to be that 50-day SMA at 452. Looks like BBAI is also trying to recapture its VWAP as well. Market is going all over the place this morning.
It's chopping around.
And MLGO is about to give back its entire morning.
Now that doesn't surprise anybody.
Well, I mean, you had this very clear head and shoulders pattern on the 5-minute showing you that this. Yeah, that's
at it.
Yeah, staring right at you with both shoulders, like, "Hey, you saw it happening." That's what a head and shoulders
right back down to 848.
That's what a head and shoulders is. Some dude shrugging, going, "Sorry, we're headed down."
Keenan No Kel. I wish I could like your username. That's how good that is. I keep asking you guys to smash up the like. By the way, smash up the like for us. But I wish that I could also like your username because that's awesome. That's awesome. Your comment's also awesome. Try a bourbon tour. It's a good time. Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine those bourbon tours are pretty good. I've actually never done that. I've done beer tours and wine tours, but I've never done a bourbon tour. And that might be next on the list, Keenan. That's a good one.
Let me ask something about beer. Well, you don't like beer, so maybe it's
not. No, I don't not like it. I just don't really drink it anymore because I prefer some of the other spirits. But I actually did have a beer over the weekend because it's on the golf course.
And chat, we're starting to get some movement in Bitcoin again. Chat, you can jump into this one too. What's your opinion on IPAs?
That's probably my favorite type of beer. Why?
I think they're shit.
Ooh.
Sorry.
I guess I shouldn't have said anything. But
that's just me. I don't prefer IPAs. They're just too much hops or something like that. I prefer Kolsch styles. How about you folks? If you drink beer, do you like IPAs, good or bad?
Dude, not what I was expecting there, but got it.
Ampy looks like that just had a pop up to VWAP. This thing has not been able to get going this morning, but maybe it will if it gets back above VWAP.
Love a good IPA. Y'all remember when Mitch and I tried beers on stream one morning? That was an interesting day. We waited till Friday, which was a really smart move. But we drank some beers that were sent to us by a viewer on stream. I made the mistake of not having any breakfast. Man, lunchtime, I was like, I need to get some food in me. I'm in big trouble here.
Hey, Buffalo by Bicycle, I'm right there with you. Irish Reds are excellent.
I do like Irish Reds, though. I do like Irish Reds. Killian's Irish Red. That was one of the first beers I stole from my parents when I was younger.
Oh, that's a great memory.
I mean, it was an all right one for me.
Stole a beer, tried it, liked it, banked that memory.
Yep, that was it. I remember when I was younger, it was so weird too. It was all over the place. I liked things like Killian's Irish Red, and I liked things like Heineken, and I couldn't stand things like Corona or Miller or Natty Ice.
Well, those are all beer drinking game beers, so.
Yeah, but I ended up going on to like beer drinking games. That's the odd part. You ever played Roxanne? Where you just put on the Police song Roxanne and you take a drink every time they say Roxanne? By the end of it, you're hammered.
I mean, we played that game where we stuffed our mouth with marshmallows every time we heard Roxanne. This is like in a youth group years ago.
Someone at a kid's school that I went, or it was a middle school that I went to, died playing the marshmallow and mouth game, choked on marshmallows. Really sad, actually. So just be careful if you're going to do that.
Yeah, don't stuff your mouth and not chew, please.
Yeah, if you can't tell, the market has really kind of died down here. Everything's just kind of trapped in a range. Like you had mentioned, Bitcoin came up off the lows, but it basically only retraced about 60%. It's just kind of holding there, maybe 40%, and it's just kind of holding there. My scanner's kind of dried up here a little bit.
Oh, hey, we did get that drop down near. We didn't quite get to 93,750, but we got to 93,880. guess that's close enough. Don't know what we're going to end up getting from here quite yet, but it would seem like it's still pretty weak. Not able to get back up to the 95,000. I mean, it did print 95,000, I think almost exactly, but couldn't recapture that handle. So needs more time. Might even still go lower. We'll see. Jay Rice, that sounds like a fantastic Irish diet.
Yeah, just Guinness.
Yeah, because that is a food group over there. I mean,
how did you feel after that? Is my question.
I imagine he probably felt fantastic.
Trying to refresh here. My charts might be going through an issue.
They do, Ivan. They do. Well, we do. I mean, we do have some pretty good craft beers. We have some really good craft beers out here in Texas. There's local brands that I only drink really because it's just they're so good. Airrock saying Pony just cracked 9. We have Pony, we have Wolf, we have all the animals playing today.
We need Whale on there.
Well, what other? I mean, we have BBAI, Big Bear AI. So
yeah, my charts are dead. So.
Yeah. Okay.
There's 2.
Let's see. Yeah, let's see what my broker's got with Pony AI.
Okay, and I'll report that here.
So Pony AI, I'm looking at a 5-minute chart. The only red candle it's really had today is the one out of the open. Ever since then, it's just been green candles all the way up to 9, where there's a large seller at. So 9 might be it. Well done, everybody that traded Pony. Drink. So how the beer stock's doing in this case? You know what, Edwards, that's a good question. Let's take a look. Let's take a look here. So Molson Coors had a pop this morning, and then it came back down and went sideways. Same range that it had after the drop on Friday. So it's still going sideways there. Let's see, it's BUD. Kind of the same thing with Bud Light on Anheuser-Busch. That one had a pop this morning. Dropped down, same consolidation from Friday. Then there's Sam. Sam hasn't been faring as well as the others. That has not been going sideways. That's been going down. And it looks like it may end up finding some bottom pretty soon here, because on Friday, this is about where the bottom was. It's a little bit lower at 237. We're not too far away at 238.66. So Sam might be finding a bottom here pretty soon. Can't say for sure, but to answer the question, those beverage drink, those alcoholic beverage drink companies, not really having a whole lot.
But you didn't answer the main question. Were you a Zima guy?
Zima, no. Nope, that stuff was piss. Where was I a Zima guy? Never been.
TEM blasting off here.
Oh, yes, it is. Is there any news on this?
I didn't see anything earlier here. Oh, never mind. That was something. Must have been something else. Tempest introduces Loop, an AI-powered target discovery and validation platform. You can't find Sam's Boston Lager in stores? Where do you live? There, it's all over the place here in Chicago. RGLS, this was a great mention from Tuna earlier. We didn't spend a lot of time on it because it basically just took a staircase to the highs. Never really pulled back and gave us entry on this. Nice little move, though. I guess the entry here is 290.
For Tempest AI, this has a significant amount of short interest, over 20%. Days to cover isn't as high, but we could be seeing some squeezing here on that news of their target discovery and validation platform. This is in the looks like it's a type of biotech that uses AI. Am I right about that?
Sorry, I went on to check something else. What did you need me to look up?
I was just wondering if Tempest AI is a biotech that uses AI.
Yeah. So this is this. Well, the AI angle here is huge. This was the Pelosi one.
Oh, okay.
This was the one Pelosi added. But yeah, a technology platform to offer free healthcare data from Silo. So it looks like it integrates a bunch of different data points into one searchable platform.
No, I get it. It's fine. It's just that I laugh because I've got a story. I'm not going to share it here because it's a little gross, but it's a story that happened to my now sister-in-law, because I've known her since we were in high school. But it's funny, and I'll have to tell it to Ryan, but it's not appropriate for this.
Okay. Really quickly here, Fairchild making the joke. As I mentioned, the jokes here were popping today. I've drank as many Zimas as episodes of Kardashians I've watched. Really quick, that I'm guessing the answer is 0 there, Fairchild, unless you miss every or you see every episode there. Funny thing, my friends around here, we've got a saying when we're on the golf course: when you hit one of your shots and it ends up hitting the cart path, we call it the Kim Cartpathian. So just as kind of an aside, it's rather entertaining.
I'm just looking around, seeing if there's anything that looks interesting right now. It looks like Seagon finally is waking up, but still. Go ahead.
Really quickly here, I just want to get this in here. Kenneth is asking, what kind of news do we have for ticker Watt? Nothing. Watt, this has been a kind of a fraudy stock for a long time. I used to trade this when it was $11, $13 years ago, like 2015. It's a 30-cent penny stock. This is pretty much nothing here. There is no news. The last piece of news was from April 17th. I don't think there's anything going on here at all.
And that was regarding their annual meeting of shareholders. That's going to take place on June 11th. That's what that form PRE 14A was. This one was interesting at one point during the pandemic because we were kind of talking about how how you have your phone, you can set it down on a pad and it charges it wirelessly.
Yeah.
I was thinking, because of all the different things they were talking about with wireless charging technology with regards to this particular company, I thought they were developing something where EVs would just simply park in a parking space and wireless charging would take place.
Or roads that would charge as you drive on them. Some roads were charging roads. Yeah, I remember that too.
And I thought this company was trying to get into that space, but I guess there's just problems with its financing or its financials. I mean, let's take a look here and see what it's got. 1.3 million in the bank. Company loses 4 million a quarter. Yeah, that's probably what it is. That's probably what it is.
Jay says it's like when I hit a good putt. I called it a mother-in-law. Looked good leaving. That's I might add that one to my bag. I might I sometimes when I hit a putt and it like lips out, I like to say that the hole has the force field up. I'm in that. I'm onto that though, Jay. I like that.
Izzy, satellite charging is the future. So how are we playing that? Because they have solar panels. That's already a thing. We have batteries. Cooler, one of those companies that we've traded on the space theme. They've already got products in space to help with their thermal management of their battery systems. How are we going to play the satellite charging if that's the future, Izzy? Tell me what you're looking at. Are we into cigars at all? Yes.
So it's funny. It's funny that you mentioned that you asked that. 13 kind of got me into this. My dad used to smoke cigars. My dad passed away from lung cancer, but it wasn't from his cigars. It was from the cigarettes that he did years before. So 13, you've kind of gotten me into this recently, talking about pairing it with scotch. And the time I spend on the golf course, a number of my other buddies will often pull out a cigar. So I'm starting, but my opinion is worthless. It's a novice opinion as far as cigars go. 9 more minutes here, folks. And don't forget, just as another reminder, y'all better be excited for tomorrow. Anne Marie will be back.
We're throwing her a return party.
That is such a good idea. We got to get little hats and stuff. We got to 13. You and I will work on the return party for Anne Marie. We'll come
the AM in the AM with AM.
In the AM with AM. Oh man, the jokes write themselves.
Yep. We can't. Hopefully, she's not on right now. We don't want to let her on with a surprise.
She might be, but
she knows. Then cover your ears. So I was going to look at something that somebody had said. Okay. So Izzy's saying satellite charge wherever you are. So basically, you're thinking like kind of a constellation system, kind of like Starlink, where instead of just providing data coverage, it's electrical charging coverage. So you're basically getting charging beamed down to you from space. Is that what I'm understanding that you're saying here? Because that could be crazy. Oh, there she is. She knows about it. The jig is up. So Izzy, God, that would be cool, but I got to think about the amount of power that would require.
The ambassador. Oh man, guys are not letting us down. Scouting for a party hat in the house. Oh, Anne Marie is going to join. She's going to join.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Now the problem is that now that I've made this joke, now I need to cash that check. I don't know if I have a party hat. I don't think I have a party hat here. We'll see what I can find.
Yeah, I know. It does kind of sound like I know it does kind of sound like that, Steve. And it's not lightning, Christoph, but that's a good joke. But no, Izzy, I get what you're saying. It's just like, when it comes to these charges that we have, these wireless charges that we have, there's a very, very small distance between where your phone is and where the actual charger is. And there's been a lot of technologies that have been trying to explore using the same kind of technology to just charge if you're in the same room. We've seen lots of that just this current decade, where you walk into a room and it just started charging to your phone, and it could be feet away from wherever this charging device is. But talking about satellites and having them do the same thing, we're talking miles now, and that would be an immense amount of power. And I think it kind of lends to the idea of like, well, satellite charging could sounds like cancer from radiation. It certainly does when you're talking about the amount of power you would need to beam down that kind of charge from space.
So the other thing that really kind of worries me about this whole concept is like wireless charging on the surface sounded really cool. Like, and they put them in everything, right? They put them in some cars. Like my car, the center console has a wireless charging tray. My phone doesn't fit in it anymore, but it had it. So the thing about this is I've actually used wireless charging in different applications on different devices. And it seemed to me that wireless charging kind of shortened the lifespan of your battery. I don't want to say it ruined the battery, but it shortened the lifespan of the battery. Now, I've since talked to some folks that are, electrical engineers or electrical engineer adjacent, and they have confirmed that is in fact the case. Like wireless charging is not as good as plugging it in. Mm-hmm. So when you start talking about satellite charging with vastly increased power loads from further and further away distances, I've got some concerns about other things there, cancer just being one of them.
Yeah, there's going to be significant power loss from up there on its way down. That'd be my whole concern. But it was really great about. Yeah, it's called lightning.
Yeah, Christoph, not even missing a beat there.
I'd love to capture lightning in a bottle. That'd be cool.
Me too.
But to your point about like an avalanche or lost in the woods, we do have the communication side, but as far as power, I get what you're saying there. And the best that we have for that right now is these small solar packs that have a battery in them. That's about all we've got right now. But wireless charging from space, even if we were to have something like that, I think we're decades away from that. We're probably closer to quantum computing than satellite charging. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I satellite. Yeah, I would agree with that. And I'm not the best, or I'm not the most bullish on quantum computing, but I think you're right. I think that statement is correct.
Looks like
stats would use lasers to beam down energy versus inductive charging, which is very inefficient. That's a good comment. Robert, you are an engineer too, aren't you? Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Archer Calls getting bought right here.
Did we end up hitting 9 in that? Because that has been the level to watch for, in my opinion, with Archer.
No, we got close. 888 was your high print there.
Okay. Let me see here, because I think this is probably one of the last things we look at, and then we got a split for the day.
Yeah, we're sending you to Trader Bacon next here.
Okay, so we did run into a little bit of a resistance area at 980. You can see that was a bit of an area, ever since we popped up here in late December. It was getting support from that, that $9, that 980 area. So we're coming up to that resistance. I mean, it's certainly looking like if it's going to break through 9, it's going to have to be a high volume move. Because I don't like the way these two candles from today and Friday are looking like they could be topping out candles. So we'll see if that's what we end up getting. If we do start to come down, though, I'd be looking at 8 as support.
Okay. Good stuff there.
Oh, perfect. Thank you, Steve. We'll take a look at that.
Yeah. Let's see if there's just a quick here we go.
Cool.
I mean, that seems like a great idea.
The green lane.
I wonder now if I have my phone in my car, would it charge my phone wirelessly if I was driving there with a non-electric car?
Cool. I mean,
yeah. I don't think basically what we're talking about here, like like Robert's saying, to use inductive charging, you need really close distances there. You might not have that.
And if that is going to be what we end up getting in the future, we're just going to have a whole bunch of green lanes. Let's see about these road grade paints that we can use, because they're going to need a lot of those.
Watch us also for some reason have red lanes and a trader's nightmare out there on the road with red and green lanes all over the place. That'd be something else.
I'm in the bearish lane.
We're going to do a crossover from bearish to bullish now.
Yeah.
I mean, it would never end. It would never end.
We already have a green lane for the tram. There you go. All right. Well, I think I got to get going here. So, folks, great job with the trades today, and especially with gosh, I can't remember that one that we traded this morning. What was it?
OMEX.
OMEX. That's right. Great job with that one. That was excellent. So let's come back here tomorrow. We'll find some more stuff to trade. Hopefully, we'll get another one of those. We'll identify some levels, make some trades, make some money. How does that sound? And we'll have Anne-Marie. So double time. Good day.
Yeah, that actually sounds awesome. We're going to have a nice welcome back party there for Anne-Marie. So 13 really good stuff here today. Good job staying on top of it as always. Again, I want to remind you folks, please be nice to 13. It's going to be him and Kevin this Friday. I'm not going to be here this Friday. I'm getting a much needed day off to spend my birthday with my good friend from a long time ago. So be sure to be nice. Be sure to smash up the like a lot for 13 and Kevin. 13, really good stuff as always. Look forward to having you back here tomorrow.
Sounds good. Take care, everybody. Bye.
All right. That is 13, folks. We are going to be done here for the day. We will be back at this again tomorrow. I'm going to send you over to Trader Bacon now. This was a really good start to the week. We've got more stuff ahead of us. Biggest earnings week on deck here this week, and it's going to culminate on Thursday. We'll be back to take a look at all of it. Stay green, stay safe, stay focused.